This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine, dated April 13, 2001. It's an extra edition featuring a Sakura Wars 3 poster and a large special issue with arcade scoop reports. The cover highlights several Dreamcast games including Virtua Fighter 4, Virtua-on-Force, and Virtua Striker 3, showcasing new character techniques and system details for Virtua Fighter 4 and the kickoff of Virtua Striker 3. Sega, Confidential Mission, and Crazy Taxi 2 are also mentioned as hot titles for Dreamcast. The cover also mentions Kanari Kono Omoi wo Uta ni no Sete and Dosukai Again Canvas. Sakura Wars 3. Is Paris Burning? Is a major focus, promising detailed mechanical illustrations by Mika Akitaka, and information on the Steam Workshop. There's also a mention of a Sakura Wars 3 telecard as an application service gift. The bottom section lists other featured games, like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Atelier Marie and Ely, The Alchemists of Salzburg 1 and 2, Landom/Battle Beaster, Ill Bleed, Love Hina Smile Again, and Resident Evil Code Veronica Complete Version. It also advertises reader rankings for all Dreamcast titles, and a report on the 10th Game Show anticipating the 21st Century Tokyo Game Show. GameSpot Japan is also mentioned. This page is the contents page for the magazine and lists the articles featured inside. Sakura Wars 3 is a major highlight with strategy guides, character and mechanical design features, and a telecard giveaway. There's a Sega Arcade special report covering Virtua Fighter 4, Cyber Troopers Virtua-on-Force, and Virtua Striker 3. NEC Interchannel titles Canary, Dosukai Again Canvas, and Canvas are also featured. Other articles include Weekly Dreamcast News, Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Stott, Xeon, a report on the 10th Game Show, Sega, Neon Genesis Evangelion Typing Project E, Confidential Mission, Atelier Marie and Ellie, The Alchemists of Salzburg 1 and 2, Crazy Taxi 2, Battle Beaster 2, and Landom Black Soul. Finally, there's a brief explanation of the icons used in the magazine, describing features like VGA support, data download compatibility, and controller types. This page continues the Dreamcast game highlights, starting with Exodus Guilty Neos, a fighting game, followed by SS and KONOHANA, True Report, likely visual novel or adventure-style games. Moving on. The Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide section features Ill Bleed, a horror-themed action game which was released internationally as Ill Bleed, and Love Hina Smile Again, a Japanese exclusive adventure game based on the popular anime series. The main feature is titled, Still Going Strong, Capcom Dreamcast Soft Rush, emphasizing Capcom's strong support for the Dreamcast. This feature includes an interview titled, Where is Capcom Going From Here? Okamoto Yoshiki Interview, suggesting insights into Capcom's future plans. Several new game announcements are highlighted, including Heavy Metal Geomatrix, which was released internationally as Cannon Spike, and Network Battle Gimmick Capcom and Colored All-Stars, hinting at online multiplayer and a crossover title. Also mentioned is Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 P-Row, the updated version of the popular crossover fighting game. Further Capcom titles under the spotlight include Gaia Master Decisive Battle, Century King Legend, Eldorado Gate Volume 4, the latest in the RPG series, Bounty Hunter Sarah, Holy Mountain Emperor's Treasure, and Biohazard Code, Veronica Complete Edition, the enhanced version of Resident Evil Code, Veronica. Finally, a note about a Capcom Game Boy Advance title announcement stating, That masterpiece is coming back, is featured, creating anticipation for a retro revival. The page also includes a game index listing games alphabetically with page numbers. This page covers recent news and events related to Sega Dreamcast. The main headline announces that Hideki Sato has been appointed as the new president of Sega, following the passing of former president Okawa. The article discusses Okawa's contributions to Sega and Sato's background in Sega's hardware development. There's also a report on the 2001 Tokyo Toy Show, highlighting the popularity of unique robot toys, especially from Sega Toys, mentioning the Pucci series. Finally, there's news about the release of Sega Kara for Dreamcast, a karaoke game for the Dreamcast. To celebrate its launch, two campaigns are announced, one offering free access during a spring break period, and another being a singing contest from April 9th to 22nd. Prizes for high scores in the contest include Dream Eye Peripherals. A list of featured karaoke songs is also provided, split by male and female vocal ranges, including tracks like Tsunami by Southern All-Stars, Everything by Misha, and My Heart Will Go On, by Celine Dion. This week's gaming news highlights several exciting developments. 100 Swords on the Dreamcast is getting a webcomic adaptation and a network tournament, requiring the at-Barai version of the game for entry. An arcade tournament for Capcom vs SNK Millennium Fight 2000 took place at Plaza Capcom, showcasing intense competition. Flight Sim fans can rejoice as Aero Dancing is coming to Windows, enabling network battles with Dreamcast players, along with new content. GameSpot teases upcoming coverage of game show openings and PC game demos. Top news this week includes updates on Sakura Wars 3, Capcom vs SNK, Sega's new president, and PlayStation 2 modem news. Sega fans face some disappointment as the ambitious online game 10SIX for Dreamcast and PC has been cancelled in Japan. However, Puyo Puyo is coming to NTT Docomo's iMode service, offering classic gameplay. In other news, the Yushun U Championship, likely for Derby Owners Club, concluded with Talent winning after a tournament with 15,000 preliminary participants. A network tournament for the Golf Shiyo-Yo series, probably Let's Play Golf, is also announced, with prizes available. Additionally, Namja Town Amusement Park will feature a new attraction, Fukubukuro Detective University, where players can solve mysteries. Anyway, an amusement park access guide for several locations is also provided. This page highlights upcoming events and products. An advertisement promotes a CRT display that functions as both a television and a PC monitor, ideal for gaming consoles and available in black and white. An event promoting Memories Off Complete is announced, featuring train car decorations on various Tokyo Metro lines in Tokyo. This campaign, titled Close to Praying Hill Train Car Coloring, is a follow-up to a previous successful campaign for Memories Off Complete. Dreamaga recommended events this week features two main events. Tokyo Game Show 2001 Spring, held at Makuhari Messe from March 30th to April 1st, and Internet Character Show 21, also at Makuhari Messe, running from April 1st to 30th. In the Goods and Presents section, readers can win tickets to the 29th Fujisanke Classic Golf Tournament and Tokimeki Memorial 2 merchandise, available at the Tokyo Game Show. The Game Show Venue Quick News section focuses on Konami's Konami Ruck booth at the Tokyo Game Show, where attendees can purchase new Tokimeki Memorial goods early. This booth will offer commemorative items and special Tokimeki Memorial 2 merchandise sets. Finally, the Spot Selection Recommended CD Information section reviews the maxi single Carry by 19-year-old artist Junpei Kobuke. His music is described as J-rock, with a strong rock spirit and catchy melodies. This page is the front cover of a magazine from March 30th, 2001, featuring actresses Yumiko Shaku and Wakana Sakai. The cover promotes articles on the Game Boy Advance and Xbox, promising in-depth information beyond what was revealed at the Tokyo Game Show. There are features on the PlayStation 2 game Onimusha, highlighting the character of Takeshi Kaneshiro, and an interview with Akihiko Kawazu, discussing his favorite games for the WonderSwan handheld console alongside Gamon Kawai. A special report section also teases previews of games like Bokuto Mao, Phantasy Star Online, Illbleed, Wildcard, Final Fantasy II, Winning 11-5, Pro Baseball 00 NFL 2K1, Fire Pro Wrestling D, and Derbitsuku. The Dreamcast Weekly Data Station highlights the top 10 best-selling Dreamcast games. Le Mans 24 Hours, a racing game, tops the list. Phantasy Star Online, a popular online RPG, comes in second. Fighting Vipers 2 is third, known for its improved gameplay. Fire Pro Wrestling D places fourth, with a dedicated website for custom downloads. Saskatsuku, J-League Pro Soccer Club Votsukuru, a soccer management sim, is fifth, focusing on tournament participation. Sakura Taisen 2 is sixth, teasing bonuses. Aero Dancing It is seventh, encouraging PC players to join. Macross M3 is eighth, with a lucky card campaign. 100 Swords, a strategy game with a PC version planned, is ninth. Westward Winds Rhapsody, an RPG nearing its climax, rounds out the top 10. This page presents the Dreamcast expected title TOP 30, a ranking of games readers are anticipating. At number 1 is Shenmue 2, boasting a high score of 399 points and a completion rate of 85%, with news about an upcoming event on April 14th and 15th, suggesting more information and possibly a new trailer will be shown. Second place is Phantasy Star Online Ver. 2, with 325 points, highlighting new information about the game to be revealed soon. Also at the April 14th-15th event, where a playable version will be available. Crazy Taxi 2 is in third position with 322 points, also scheduled for release in May. The page highlights weekly pickup titles. First is Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro, noted as coming soon with a new title banner, emphasizing the debut of Joe and Dan from Capcom and SNK Games joining the fight. The other weekly pick is Marie and Ellie's Atelier 2. The Alchemists of Marie and Ellie ranked at number 20, showing a completion rate of 80% and described as a beautifully refined RPG with improved graphics for Dreamcast, ready to offer a fresh experience to players. Other notable games in the ranking include Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Xeon, Sonic Adventure 2, Pia Carrot e Yukoso 2.5, Sakura Wars on Dreamcast, Canvas Sepia-themed motif, The House of the Dead 3, and Heavy Metal Geomatrix. This page presents two top game charts: a Reader's Choice ranking of expected titles, and a Video Game Top 15. The Reader's Choice, voted by readers, is topped by the PC visual novel AIR, followed by Nights into Dreams, and Burning Rangers on Sega Saturn. The list also includes The King of Fighters 2000, Onimusha, and various other titles. The Video Game Top 15 features Derby Owners Club 2000 at number 1, followed by Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Guilty Gear X. The King of Fighters 2000 appears again in this chart. A weekly pickup section highlights Virtua Fighter 4, introducing a card system and a new Shaolin Kung Fu character, and Virtual On Force, emphasizing new characters and gameplay depth. This document outlines the Dreamcast software release schedule, categorized by genre, action, RPG, etc., and compatible peripherals, VM, microphone, etc. The schedule is broken down by month. The first section details games with tentative release dates, including sequels like Shenmue 2 and Sonic Adventure 2, along with titles like Victory Goal 2001 and Mystery Unexplored World Explorers. April 2001 releases include Spirit of Speed, 1937, and WWF Royal Rumble. Games slated for June and July feature Eldorado Gate Volume 5, Princess Maker Collection, and Heavy Metal Geomatrix. The document also briefly lists release schedules for PlayStation 2 and Game Boy Advance games. The next page showcases the Dreamcast Reader's Race 105 ranking, highlighting the top 30 Dreamcast games as voted by readers. Soul Calibur tops the chart, followed by Phantasy Star Online and Eternal Arcadia, Skies of Arcadia. The ranking lists popular titles like Biohazard Code, Veronica, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, Canon, Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, and Grandia 2. Two new arrival games are spotlighted. Le Mans 24 Hours, which is placed at 36th, receiving a reader score of 9.1509 and a main score of 8.0. The review praises its immersive feel of endurance racing, though it points out the lack of damage modeling and carware. F1 World Grand Prix 2 for Dreamcast, ranked 251st, receives a lower score of 6.1428, with a main score of 5.0. Review comments mention it feels dated and has processing issues. The page also features Hidden Gem Game, the psychology game, at 288th place, with a score of 4.7142. The review suggests it faithfully adapts the board game experience and could be enjoyable for fans of the genre. The page includes screenshots from Ellie Mann's 24 Hours and F1 World Grand Prix 2 for Dreamcast. Dreamcast Reader's Race 105 continues with game reviews. Fire Pro Wrestling D, ranked 56th, is a wrestling game praised for its gameplay and accessibility, earning an 8.96 average. Boku Doraemon, 57th, 8.96 average, is a Doraemon adventure game that is hampered by its lack of full voice acting and unclear target audience. Guilty Gear X, 82nd, 8.82 average, is lauded for its animation and sound, but faces potential balance issues. 100 Swords, 88th, 8.81 average, is a simulation RPG praised for its enjoyable gameplay and lag-free network mode. Eldorado Gate, Volume 2, 109th, 8.65 average, offers a unique RPG experience with tough boss battles and is considered good value. Each review features gameplay screenshots. This page continues the Dreamcast Reader's Race 105 rankings with more game reviews. Starting at 90th position is J-League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru's, Let's make a J-League soccer club, a simulation game. Ranked 91st is Gimmick Gear, an action RPG. Tokyo Bus Anai, Tokyo Bus Guide, is at 92nd, a simulation game. Feed You comes in at 93rd, an adventure game. Revive ranks 94th, another adventure title. Romania number 203 is at 95th position, an adventure game. LOL, Lack of Love, ranked 96th, is an RPG. Street Fighter 03, Street Fighter Alpha 3, is at 97th, an action fighting game. Poppin' Michi, a puzzle game, is at 98th. Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes takes the 99th spot, an action fighting game, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. New Age of Heroes is at 100th, also an action fighting game. Climax Landers, an RPG, is ranked 101st. Vanva Pirate is at 102nd, an action game. Last Hope, Pink Bullets is ranked 103rd, a shooting game. Trigger Hard Exelica, a shooting game, is 104th, and Radarji is at 105th position, also a shooting game. The page is a list of Dreamcast game rankings and reviews, with game details like genre, release date, price, and screenshots showcasing gameplay. This page continues the Dreamcast Reader's Race Rankings, listing games from 149th to 194th. The list includes a variety of genres: action, adventure, fighting, racing, RPG, simulation, puzzle, shooting, and sports games. Notable titles mentioned are Air Force Delta, Blue Stinger, Capcom vs. SNK, Tokyo Extreme Racer, Power Stone 2, and Dino Crisis. The page then spotlights Sega Tetris, Segatris, released in November 2000. It offers both single-player and multiplayer modes, supporting up to 14 players in network battles. The game received positive reader reviews, 8.66/10 average, for its depth and value. Reader feedback notes the network play, but mentions the difficulty in finding opponents. The rankings continue with more games across various genres, culminating in 7th Cross, an RPG, at 194th. This page details the Dreamcast Reader's Race Rankings, covering games ranked 208 to 298 across various genres. Sections discuss declining Dreamcast software availability, Fiber Pro D section, and rising/falling game rankings. A release expected soon. Section previews unranked upcoming titles like Capital 5, I, and Illbleed, urging reader votes. Yet again, Net to Tennis is lower in the rankings. Discusses the Dreamcast's decline and the shift in rankings of established and newer titles, specifically mentioning Gakyu Yamazaki. A Now on Sale section lists currently discounted games, including several titles from the Grauen no Torikago series, Pachisuro games, and other assorted titles. This Dreamcast news page, titled Fastest DC Hot Software News, focuses on upcoming and recently released Dreamcast games. It features previews of 4 games, including the adventure titles Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning 9.33 score, and Eve Zero Complete Edition Arc of the Matter 9.0, the action-adventure Biohazard Code, Veronica Complete Edition 9.0, and the adventure title Haru Ura Ra 6.33. Beyond game reviews, the page includes a Dreamcast peripheral ranking, reader comments, Dream Master's voice, and reader participation sections. These include contests like the Next Issue Chance Game and the Dreamcast Reader's Race, with prize giveaways in the Special Present section. The page also features sections for predicting game rankings, this week's odds forecast, and Double Chance odds forecast game, and announces winners from previous contests. This page is an advertisement for strategy guides. The first guide is for UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship, covering both the Dreamcast and PlayStation versions. This perfect guide helps players conquer the game by explaining game systems in detail, showcasing fighter techniques and data, fighter styles, offering photos from the official UFC photographer, providing a thorough guide to the edit fighter mode, and revealing secret fighter appearance conditions. The second guide is for Fire Pro Wrestling D The Complete, promising a complete breakdown of techniques and hidden elements. This guide aims to assist both beginners and experienced players, detailing the game system, featuring all 220 wrestlers with move lists, providing in-depth edit mode strategies, and including special bonuses like a detachable Operation Command list and Wrestler Edit Note. This Dreamcast review page assesses two games, NBA 2K1 and Spirit of Speed, 1937. NBA 2K1 receives an 8.3310, lauded as a pinnacle of basketball games. Reviewers, including female players and current basketball players, praise its strategic depth, varied playstyles, including a 2-on-2 mode, detailed player expressions, smooth controls, and authentic NBA atmosphere. It excels in online play with a detailed replay system. Spirit of Speed 1937 scores a 5.3310, showcasing classic car racing. While appreciated for its engine sounds, nostalgic visuals, and thrilling speeds up to 300 km per hour, the game suffers from repetitive gameplay due to its high number of laps and a lack of modes. Reviewers also note rough graphics. Despite its flaws, it's considered accessible for beginners seeking a classic car racing experience, with a surprising retro atmosphere, though with concerns regarding the background movement. This page reviews 3 Dreamcast games. First is Canvas Sepia Color Motif, a romance simulation game launching on April 5th. It's priced at 7,200 yen. User reviews highlight easy gameplay and replayability, while writers expect good content volume, though with some minor concerns. A guest writer praises the graphics and scenario, giving it a score of 7 out of 10. The game features character interactions and dialogue, as seen in the screenshots. Next is Ace Way, an adventure game also releasing on April 5th, priced at 6,800 yen. It is described as a 21st century gamebook and a psycho-suspense adventure, best experienced with headphones. It is noted as a live-action adventure game for the Dreamcast. The game received a score of 8.33 out of 10, and the screenshot shows a scene with live actors. Finally, there's Eldorado Gate Volume 4, an RPG, releasing on April 12th for 2,800 yen. The review section, titled, "Finally Getting Interesting," suggests improvements and new engaging elements in this volume. It received a score of 7.33 out of 10, and the screenshot shows in-game battle action. The review highlights dramatic changes, improved gameplay, and enjoyment in this 4th installment. This page is a preview of the adventure game Nakoru, Ano Hito Kara no Okurimono, which translates to Nakoru, Gift from the Person, a title related to the Samurai Showdown series, focusing on the popular character Nakoru. The article discusses why this new Nakoru-focused game is being released by Interlets and not SNK, highlighting the circumstances surrounding SNK at the time and the desire to create a game focusing on Nakoru's daily life. Seoji from Interlets, described as the development room manager and producer, is interviewed and shares insights about the game's development and Nakoru's character. The game is described as shifting the focus from Nakoru's heroic side to her more ordinary girl aspects, depicting her daily life, emotions, and experiences from a younger perspective, specifically a 7-year-old's viewpoint. The article also mentions the attention to detail, with requests to consider elements like the sound of hair flowing and the scent of breath to enhance the immersive experience. The game is set to be released in June by Shao Luck, and the system requirements include a Pentium 2000, 233 MHz CPU, 64 MB of RAM, a VM4MB video card with DirectX support, and a Windows-compatible sound card, and will be on 2 CDR-OMs. Screenshots show in-game scenes and the developer Seiyo Karji. The official homepage URL is also provided. Red Company, transitioning to Red Entertainment, held a 20-year retrospective exhibition at Roppongi Lafayette Museum, showcasing its creative journey. The Red exhibition featured a diverse range of materials across 8 themed sections. Highlights included a mini-live performance and talk show. Exhibits spanned from initial design documents to costumes and original artwork, covering works like Joint Robo Packaging, Mashin Hero Wataru, Magic Princess Minky Momo, and MS Girl. The exhibition also honored influential games from the Tengai Makyo series. Other sections presented works like Gulliver Boy and focused on the evolution of Sakura Wars, with valuable setting materials and costume designs on display. A talk show with voice actors Tanaka Mayumi and Takagi Wataru added to the event's appeal. This page is an advertisement for a Sakura Wars 3 Paris is Burning release campaign, where applicants can receive a special telephone card. Artist Hidenori Matsubara drew 3 illustrations for this campaign, and these are featured on the telephone cards given to all applicants. Each card is priced at 800 yen. The page details the application process, including using a specific application form, writing required information like address and name, and enclosing payment. The deadline for applications is April 20, 2001. Contact information for inquiries is also provided. This page is an advertisement for 2 guidebooks for Phantasy Star Online. The first is the Phantasy Star Online Perfect Guide, touted as the ultimate resource for hunters, packed with valuable data and materials, and the best single volume available. It boasts 272 full-color pages and includes complete of character creation, thorough breakdowns of all areas by class, numerous Hunter Guild quests, a detailed item list featuring special weapons, and exclusive developer interviews. The second guide is the Phantasy Star Online Navigation Guide, advertised as the starting point for exploring Planet Ragol. This 112-page full-color guide offers valuable strategy information, detailed explanations from character creation to network setup, useful tips and techniques for both online and offline play, thorough of the game's early stages, perfect instruction on basic character development, and extensive weapon, item, and enemy data, along with in-depth technique explanations. Both guides are currently on sale. This page from Dorimaga Detective Club investigates the 10th Tokyo Game Show. It announces the upcoming event from March 30th to April 1st during spring vacation, marking its 10th iteration. Interestingly, Sega will not be exhibiting at the Tokyo Game Show, opting instead to host their own separate event called Game Jam at ZEP Tokyo in Odaiba around mid-April. The article also reflects on the history of the Tokyo Game Show, noting that the 7th show achieved the highest attendance and highlighting the fluctuations in attendance and exhibitor numbers over the years, particularly from around 1999 onwards. The page includes photos from past Tokyo Game Shows and tables detailing attendance and exhibitor statistics from the 1st to the 10th event. The 10th Tokyo Game Show, the first major game show of the 21st century, features an interview with CESA's Mr. Shiraishi. Key highlights include the debut of the handheld Game Zone, showcasing the Game Boy Advance, and a keynote speech by Bill Gates. The Japan Game Awards nominations, featuring titles like Dragon Quest V-2 and Final Fantasy IX, are also showcased. Sega's absence, due to their own event, is noted, though a possible return in the autumn is hoped for. The interview explores the changing industry, with advancements in console performance potentially impacting release schedules and show formats. A shift to an annual autumn show is under consideration. Images of the event, including the Xbox logo, are also present. The Autumn Tokyo Game Show is scheduled for October 12-14. This page announces Virtua Fighter 4 as part of Sega's 3 consecutive arcade releases for the 21st century. The page highlights a brand new character for Virtua Fighter 4, who is making their debut. This new character, revealed at the AOU Expo in February, uses the Rakken-ken style of martial arts, drawing comparisons to Hong Kong action stars with their dynamic and acrobatic fighting style. The character is a master of Shaolin Kung Fu, known for its diverse range of techniques, and is expected to symbolize the evolution of battles in Virtua Fighter 4. Virtua Fighter 4 is confirmed to be an arcade game, using the NAOMI2 hardware, with the release date still to be determined. This page continues the reveal of Virtua Fighter 4, and focuses on a new character, who is a Shaolin Kung Fu master. The character is described as a user of Shaolin Fist style, originating from the Shaolin Temple in China. This style is known for both small, nimble southern styles and powerful northern styles, encompassing various branches like Hong Kong-style fist and others. The page emphasizes the character's stances, or kamae, highlighting that these stances are crucial in battle and allow for diverse attacks to counter any opponent. Unlike characters who rely on a single fighting style, this new fighter utilizes numerous stances to unleash various kung fu techniques. The character is said to be skilled in using Rakken and other Shaolin-based skills, making them a versatile and adaptable fighter in Virtua Fighter 4. The page includes screenshots from Virtua Fighter 4, showcasing the new character in action. The next page continues the Virtua Fighter 4 reveal, focusing on this new character who is skilled in Shaolin Kung Fu. The headline emphasizes refined and fierce martial arts and illusion, highlighting the character's dynamic fighting style. Daiichi Katagiri, the development team leader from AM2 of CRI for Virtua Fighter 4, is interviewed and explains that the new character is visually inspired by Shaolin Temple movies, and their fighting style emphasizes stances, or kamae, which are essential for combat. These stances offer varied attacks and techniques to counter opponents, unlike characters limited to a single style. Katagiri mentions that they aim to create a character with excellent responsiveness and a satisfying feel to their moves, focusing on intuitive playability in Virtua Fighter 4, and exploring how stances can be used to strategically change attacks in combat. This page continues the Virtua Fighter 4 feature, focusing on the new character's free-form fighting style, which is described as a symbol of VF4. It is stated that this character's style is based on Shaolin Kung Fu, drawing inspiration from Shaolin Temple movies and their stances. The article highlights the dynamic and powerful nature of this new character's moves, showcased in in-game screenshots of them performing various techniques. The text mentions that this character is designed to be different from existing Virtua Fighter characters in terms of basic techniques. While they are not necessarily focused on fast attacks or close combat, the emphasis is on creating a character that feels new and enjoyable for players who want a different Virtua Fighter experience. There is a discussion with Katahira-san, who is likely from the development team, who mentions that this new character is another male character. He discusses the development approach for Virtua Fighter 3 and how they are aiming for a different direction in Virtua Fighter 4, wanting to give each character a more distinct color or style. He mentions that they are thinking about incorporating the concept of kamae, or stances, into the system for all characters. Katahira also touches on the game's setting, stating it is a few years after Virtua Fighter 3, and jokingly speculates about the age of the character Eileen. He concludes by saying that details about boss characters and future information will be revealed later. This page showcases a prominent full-page image of a large, imposing robot or mecha. It's depicted in a dynamic pose, suggesting action or combat. The mecha is angular in design, featuring a mix of dark and lighter gray panels, with accents of blue, orange, and green highlights on various parts of its body, notably around the shoulders, head, and legs, giving it a futuristic and powerful appearance. The background is dark and smoky, further emphasizing the mecha as the central focus of the page. This page showcases Force Generation, with a large image focusing on several mecha robots from Cybertroopers' Virtual On Force. The image presents a dynamic scene, with the mecha in action against a dark, smoky backdrop. The text at the bottom confirms this is related to the game, and gives copyright information for Sega Corporation and character design by Kotoki Hajime. This page is purely visual, and focuses on showcasing the mecha designs of Virtual Alon Force. This page is all about the Force system in Cybertroopers' Virtual Aeon Force, the newest entry in the series. It's a deep dive into the new magnetic card system they are implementing. Apparently, using magnetic cards will record player data, and consistently using the same card unlocks in-game events and accumulates play information. This system uses something called a club card and a VO4 terminal to read the cards. The screenshots demonstrate the intense mecha combat and game interface. They are saying that using cards will also unlock different types of Raiden mecha. This page continues the deep dive into the Force system of Cybertroopers' Virtual Aeon Force. It's highlighting the development team's perspective on this new arcade experience. They're calling the card system a brand new approach, contrasting it with older arcade games where play sessions were very limited. The article details the flow of the card system, explaining that you first buy a VO4 card at the VO4 terminal and register your pilot name and machine. Then, you use this card to play the game on the twin cabinet, and afterwards, reinsert it into the terminal to save your play data. It mentions that using these cards unlocks new machine variations, like Farmed the JAG types, specifically mentioning variations with weapons like Tonfar and submachine gun, machete and assault rifle, and knuckle. It notes that while these are new machine types, they aren't necessarily stronger, so you need to consider if switching is worthwhile. This page delves into the development of Cybertroopers' Virtual Aeon Force, featuring an interview with director Yamashita Nobuyuki. He discusses the innovative Force system and the card system, designed to extend gameplay through pilot and machine development. The card system introduces strategic depth, allowing players to modify machine performance and switch machines mid-battle. The interview also highlights visual enhancements, especially the custom Hikaru board's improved lighting and polygon rendering. The game boasts a vast and varied selection of machines. The page showcases machine variations like Fei Yen, with color and weapon alterations, and box machines featuring diverse weapon loadouts. This evolution emphasizes expanded strategic depth, machine variety, and visual improvements for a significant advancement in the Virtual Aeon series. This page continues the feature on Cybertroopers' Virtual Aeon Force. The interview section explores topics like why a home console version isn't planned immediately, focusing on the arcade experience for game centers, and suggesting the game is designed to draw crowds. The discussion touches upon game balance and intensity, especially for 4-player matches, aiming for a pace that's manageable, even with multiple players. The page highlights the check radar display details, which explains how the radar is improved to give players better awareness of the battlefield, showing terrain features, unit positions with color-coded allies and enemies, and even obstacle locations. Lucky movements are healthy section confirms the return of Spesinef and other classic Virtualoids to the roster, alongside the 6 machines shown previously. The interview confirms that the card system will be in the final product, and they are planning various card designs. They mention user feedback from the previous location tests, particularly regarding 2-on-2 battles, and are incorporating that feedback into the final game. The article ends teasing the upcoming location test. This page previews Virtua Striker 3, proclaiming it as the legendary soccer game making a comeback. The article highlights its debut at the AOU Expo in February and confirms its release for both arcades and Dreamcast. New features for this installment include card systems and the introduction of offside rules, aiming for a more authentic soccer experience. The article emphasizes the series' signature simple controls, making it easy to pick up and play, while still offering depth for experienced players. It also provides a brief history of the Virtua Striker series, showcasing its evolution through various versions, from the original Virtua Striker to Virtua Striker 2 Ver 2000.1. Virtua Striker 3 was later released internationally and is known as Virtua Striker 3 Ver 2002. The next page continues the Virtua Striker 3 coverage, focusing on what's new in this iteration. Point 1 details the introduction of red cards, meaning reckless tackles can now result in player dismissals, unlike previous games where only free kicks were awarded. Point 2 highlights the addition of halftime, a first for the series, with statistics like ball possession, shots, and fouls displayed. Point 3 announces the implementation of the offside rule. Point 4 confirms the game will feature 32 national teams, listing them including nations such as France, England, Germany, Italy, Brazil, and Argentina, with new entries like Czech Republic. There is an interview with producer Toshimitsu Mifune, who discusses the major changes from previous versions, emphasizing the refined player movement, dribbling, passing, and the overall game balance which he feels has improved, also noting development is 100% complete. He clarifies that yellow and red cards are issued based on sliding tackles and foul severity, and that there are at least 4 stadiums in the game. Dreamcast Magazine's issue features a 24-page strategy guide for Sakura Wars 3. Is Paris Burning? Promising complete coverage. The game's release day events in Ikebukuro, Gigo, Tokyo, and Osaka were major successes, with special gifts for purchasers. Tokyo and Osaka events, despite the absence of one voice actress, featured appearances by the Paris Flower Troupe members and voice actors like Hiroi Oji, Tanaka Mayumi, and Tao Hiromi. Photos, showcase fans, Sakura Wars 3 themed cocktails, and interactions with voice actors. Rare prizes, including Paris Flower Troupe autographs, were awarded. The game's pricing is detailed. Limited editions, A and B, at 9,800 yen. Regular edition, at 7,800 yen, all with 420 points. The genre is ADV, with VM and Puru Paku support, along with communication compatibility. This page continues the Sakura Wars 3 strategy guide, focusing on the 3rd episode titled Noble Bloodline, the Beautiful Sea Maiden. It sets the scene for the episode, highlighting the character Glisley, a noblewoman with a strong sense of tradition, and poses the question of how Ogami will foster teamwork within the Flower Troupe. The page details Scene 1, an event titled Flower Troupe as a Team, that takes place first at the apartment and then at the park. Event 01, marked as Event and Lips Complete Capture, features a minigame called Crazy Rally. The scene shows Erika, Kokuriko, and Ogami in the park playing Hanetsuki, a Japanese badminton-like game. The page explains the Crazy Rally minigame, where players use the Dreamcast controller to hit a shuttlecock back and forth. It's a simple timing-based game, where hitting the button at the right moment results in a smash. The goal is to achieve a high score, with rankings based on points. 5,000 points earns 1 symbol, and 7,500 points earns 2 symbols. Perfect scores exceed 11,000 points. The page includes Lips dialogue options for responding to Kokuriko's challenge to a game, with choices like, "Yes, let's compete," or "No, I'll pass." The next page continues the Sakura Wars 3 strategy guide, now focusing on Scene 2, titled Glisley and Decision, Great God's Fate on the Mast. This scene is an automatic event happening at the blue male residence. It describes how Glisley gets angry and challenges Ogami to a duel on the mast of a ship. During this duel, you'll face Lip's choices to influence the outcome. Scene 3 is then detailed as Great God ordered to be a servant, free movement at blue male residence. The objective here is to complete housework at the blue male residence by 2 p.m. It's explained that Ogami becomes a maid to help at the blue male residence after losing the duel with Glisley. You'll see Ogami in a maid outfit moving around the residence. Erika and Kokuriko come to check on Ogami. The page outlines 2 main tasks during this free movement section. 1. Decorate the hall, which involves getting decorations, and 2. Idea for sweets, which requires coming up with dessert menu ideas for the guests the next day. A table is shown indicating the locations and times of events within the blue male residence during this free movement period. There are also Lip's dialogue options to navigate during these tasks and interactions. This guide details events within the 3rd episode of Sakura Wars 3. Ogami must complete several tasks within specific time frames. These include helping with decorations, borrowing a tray from Taleb in the red flower room, visiting Glycine's room, be mindful of the bascule sofa, and assisting Erika and Kokuriko in the pink flower room, avoid looking up inappropriately. The Great Hall presents multiple scenarios, helping Erika clean, with a potential double lips challenge and vase-breaking consequence, playing hide-and-seek with Kokuriko, who might also break a vase, and after finding a replacement for the decorative plate and going to Taleb by a certain time, acquiring ideas for sweets. The guide emphasizes the importance of managing time and making choices that impact relationships. This page continues the strategy guide for Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning?, focusing on Episode 3 events within the Blue Male Mansion. It details specific timed events and choices across different locations. The first section, Duel Arena, outlines an event between 13:0013:25, where players can encounter Glycine. If the player visits Glycine's room before this event and retrieves a sweet idea, they can get another sweet idea from Glycine here. It warns about potential dialogue changes based on relationship levels. The second section, Courtyard, describes an event between 13 to 3014:00 in the courtyard where Erika is cleaning. It mentions that the courtyard is large and seems difficult to clean effectively. The guide suggests encouraging Erika, and that this event can also lead to obtaining sweet ideas from Erika during the sweets event. The third section, Kitchen, details an event between 13 to 3014:00 in the kitchen. Laura is making cream puffs, and Erika is tempted to eat them. The guide notes that stopping Erika from eating them is important for maintaining trust. The final section, Main Gate, describes events at the main gate between 13:0014:00. This section involves multiple encounters triggered in sequence. The first encounter is with Mel and C, followed by Obisui, then Jean, and finally Granenma. The guide highlights that different characters appear each time the player visits, and that trust levels can fluctuate with each interaction. This guide outlines events in Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning?, Episode 3 at the Blue Male Mansion. In the large hall, 1345 to 1400. A vase incident involving Erika and Kokoliko requires dialogue choices to defend them. The entrance hall, 1345 to 1400, features a sweets event, where choices are made based on acquired ideas to prepare for a guest's arrival. At 1400, the guide moves to the entrance hall for sweet selection: grilled apple with grapes and salad, or bread ear fried in oil. Scene 4 in the courtyard shows Ogami and Glycine, in a maid uniform, playing shogi, discussing commoner versus noble pride. Scene 5 in the large hall involves Count Rishu's arrival. Erika and Kokoliko are caught peeking, prompting dialogue choices. Defending Kokoliko influences Glycine's trust. This page continues the Sakura Wars 3 guide, detailing events at the Blue Male Mansion. Scene 6, titled Count Rishu's Mansion, introduces Count Rishu as a potential marriage partner for Glycine, although the guide hints there's more to him than meets the eye. During this scene, dialogue choices are presented that impact Glycine's trust in the player. Scene 7, titled It Was Kitaoji Hanabi Who Nursed the Fainted Okami, depicts Okami being cared for by Kitaoji Hanabi after he faints. This scene explores the history of the Blue Male family and Glycine's destiny. Dialogue choices allow players to inquire about Hanabi, Glycine's destiny, the blue male family, or Count Rishu. Additional dialogue options with Hanabi range from discussing noble understanding to polite goodbyes. This guide details the free movement events leading up to Kokuriko's debut stage in Sakura Wars 3. It covers Scene 8, providing a schedule of events from 1730 to 1830. Key events include witnessing C's preparations at the Shanawall, a lobby event where Kokuriko, in costume, speaks with Ogami and rewards the player with a Gozu picture, and a bar meeting with Ju to discuss the performance and preparations, hinting at the staff's awareness of outside help. The guide is designed to help players experience these interactions. This guide details events in Sakura Wars 3's Episode 3, focusing on preparations for Kokuriko's stage performance. Events include comforting a nervous Kokuriko using click mode, and conversing with her in the Rakuyu room using LIP's choices. You can also speak with Mel in the secretarial room, receiving accurate fortune-telling for Oshigami, potentially predicting events. In the attendant room, dialogue with Grandma involves LIP's choices related to recent unsettling events. Jean asks for help testing the Bonaparte air generator in the underground storage, again with LIP's choices. The events, secretarial room, elevator hall, and employee entrance suggest a potential for events based on Mel's fortune. The guide also presents Mel's fortune-telling results, indicating potential disasters depending on the luck category, with a timeout choice leading to bad luck. The overall fortune outcome involves a triple bind with Grandma, C, and Erika. This page continues the Sakura Wars 3 strategy guide, detailing Episode 3 events in various locations. In the cafe, Rolance praises Kokuriko's machine, but Kokuriko, still naive, might reveal her secret troop affiliation. Players should be careful with their dialogue choices, lips, to avoid this. At the bar, rumors circulate about nobles being kidnapped. Erika might use a machine gun, and player choices, lips, will determine if she does so inside the bar to control the situation. At the Japanese embassy, the ambassador questions Kokuriko, now a member of the Paris Floral Review, focusing on her abilities as a soldier, not her personal life. Again, lips choices are involved. Moving to the Blue Male Manor entrance, Blue Male is instructing Okigami and Kokuriko in maid duties. She is a seasoned maid with high expectations. Lips choices feature here too. Finally, at the church, a sequence of Erika events unfolds, triggered if events from Episode 2's free movement were seen. Dialogue with Father Lano reveals Erika's help at the Blue Male household and her concern about causing trouble. Visiting before 6 p.m. will find Erika at the church. After 6 p.m. she will be at the shop. Lips choices are relevant in this section. The Dreamcast Magazine's Sakura Wars 3 strategy guide details Episode 3 events. Event 16 in the guest room features Kokuriko and lips choices. The Ebian police investigate kidnappings in Event 17, with player dialogue options about the cause. Event 18, in the VIP room, involves a serious discussion between Ogami and Grandma, affecting Tokuda's trust. Event 19, backstage with Kokuriko, offers reassurance. Event 20 in the kitchen has Erika offering an Ichigo tart with an analog lips choice. Event 21 in the shop involves Sira and costumes. Event 22 in the secretarial room uses analog lips to help Mel. Finally, Event 23 shows Kokuriko in the storeroom with dialogue options after her performance. This guide details events from Sakura Wars 3, Episode 3. Several events unfold during specific time slots. In the manager's office, 6:10 to 6:25 p.m., agreeing to Grandma's request ends free movement. The hangar, 6 o'clock to 6:25 p.m., features Erika's Kubu F maintenance, allowing it boosts her trust. The shower room, 6:05 to 6:25 p.m., has a blackout, requiring the player to help Kokuriko. Glycine's room, 5:30 to 5:55 p.m., involves encouraging Glycine about her family and future. Hanabi's room, 5:30 to 6:25 p.m., focuses on alleviating her worries about succession. The Waterside Bridge, 6 o'clock to 6:25 p.m., lets you comfort Glycine. Lastly, Ogami's apartment, 5:30 to 5:55 p.m., allows a special kinematron conversation with either Grandma or Glycine. This page continues the Sakura Wars 3 guide, diving into more scenes and choices. Scene 9 sets the stage in Paris at night, describing a suspicious figure trapping nobles in a cage. The text hints at Grise Blume and raises questions about intentions. Scene 10 focuses on the mystery surrounding Riche Schumann, a noble who has recently gone missing. It suggests The mysterious figure might be Riche in disguise, and highlights a picture of Riche Schumann, found at the Griesblumer mansion. The text emphasizes the suspicion around Riche and the unfolding investigation by Ogami, venturing to Glycine's house. Scene 11 details a confrontation with Riche Schumann. The scene title is Resolution is in the Garden. It depicts a duel between Ogami and Riche Schumann in a garden setting. The guide provides dialogue choices during this confrontation and their corresponding outcomes. These choices are presented in table format, showing normal/lips options with associated character icons for Erika, Glycine, Kokoriko, Roberia, and Hanabi, indicating character reactions or influences. Choices include dialogue options like questioning Riche, declaring resolution to fight, and specific actions during combat such as attacking or defending. The text emphasizes the changing nature of Riche Schumann's fighting style compared to when he previously fought with Ogami, suggesting a shift in his demeanor and fighting prowess for this decisive battle. Scene 12 of the Sakura Wars 3 strategy guide highlights Glycine's realization of Ogami's power, prompting her shock. The guide details a critical dialogue choice, with options affecting affection levels with all heroines if the player chooses different. Scene 13 shifts to the Paris Combat Review's mobilization to rescue Leon and captured nobles imprisoned in Bastille Prison. The team gathers at the Chat Noir's command center. The guide presents two sets of dialogue choices, successfully navigating the first, involving key and device actions, or selecting OK, followed by sortie commands, boosts affection with all heroines. Choosing time over in either scene yields no affection increases. This page continues the strategy guide for Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, and focuses on Scene 14, titled, Open the Road to the Bastille Prison. It details two battle scenarios within this scene, presenting players with a choice. The first scenario, Battle A, Bastille Prison Key Retrieval Operation, requires players to collect two keys and then defeat the Great God Machine by retreating. The enemy deployment includes Pwn units, specified as Jorge's and Gliese types, and ultra-secret material boxes. The guide highlights that keys are found in boxes that make sounds, while silent boxes inflict damage. It suggests using wide-range units like Kokoriko and Erika, and advises players to prepare for damage and consider retreat. The second scenario, Battle B, Bastille Prison Unlock Device Operation, tasks players with stepping on all magic circles and then defeating the Great God Machine by retreating. The enemy deployment includes Pwn units, magic circles, and steam pods. A key point is that stepping on magic circles when they are red will cause damage. The guide emphasizes carefully planning the route through the map to accomplish the objective. Both scenarios share the same enemy reinforcements as none, indicating no additional enemies appear during the battles. The overall context is rescuing nobles imprisoned in Bastille Prison. This Sakura Wars 3 strategy guide section focuses on battle events and their impact on character trust. It details three types of LIPS events: Key Retrieval Operation and Unlock Device Operation, each with specific scenarios. The guide explains how damage from enemy units and stage hazards, like material boxes and magic circles, can lead to unexpected retreats. It then describes several battle events, one with Kokoriko and Ogami, and others involving Erika potentially taking damage from the environment. The player, through Ogami, must make choices to protect Erika. The final section introduces a scene where Glycine and Ogami discuss their situation. Glycine demonstrates resolve despite challenges, hinting at her internal struggles. The page includes screenshots of the characters and environment. This guide outlines the boss battle against Marche in Sakura Wars 3, Scene 15. The battle requires no special equipment and focuses on a frontal assault. Two in-battle events can occur, involving dialogue and character actions. Victory demands defeating Marche and all Great God Machines. The enemy deployment includes Marche and 3 Pwn units. The recommended strategy involves positioning Glycine and the Great God Machine at the front using Kaibu, cover/defense, while Erika and Kokeliko flank from the rear. Marche's attacks have a wide range. Scene 16 follows, revealing Glycine's emotional liberation after defeating Marche. The win frees her and the Flower Division, leading to increased teamwork and self-confidence for Glycine. The scene ends positively, with the team celebrating. The next page is part 2 of a Dreamcast Magazine special strategy for Sakura Wars 3, Paris Burning, focusing on revealing the secrets behind the game's battle system. This part of the magazine reveals development insights through interviews with the team, exploring the creation and evolution of the battle mechanics. The article emphasizes the significant leap from Sakura Wars 2 to 3, particularly the shift to full 3D graphics, and the introduction of the Active and Real-Time Machine System, or ARMS. The developers discuss the challenges of moving from 2D to 3D environments and the decision to utilize polygons for all visual elements in the game. The article highlights the large team involved and the considerable effort dedicated to crafting the battle component, with specific sections dedicated to arms, game system, modeling, and the game's use of polygon graphics. This article explores the development of Sakura Wars 3. Paris Burning for the Dreamcast, featuring interviews with Akira Nishino and Takaharu Terada. Nishino discusses the challenges of implementing fully polygonal battle scenes, initially experimenting with the Red Wing unit. Early development focused on trial and error to achieve the desired visual quality on the Dreamcast hardware. Terada highlights the goal of creating purely enjoyable settings for battles, aiming for a more dynamic and accessible experience compared to traditional simulation games. He emphasizes the incorporation of action-oriented elements while retaining strategic depth. The team also focused on translating 2D illustrations into 3D CG models, requiring significant changes from previous iterations. The aim was to immerse players in a realistic Parisian setting, utilizing the Dreamcast's capabilities to render the city's landmarks and atmosphere, particularly through the new ARMS system. This page continues the discussion on the battle part secrets of Sakura Wars 3, Paris Burning. It highlights how all the Kubu F units are uniquely shaped in 3Ds to expand their range of motion, a key design goal. The team focused heavily on modeling, ensuring the camera could move anywhere and that the game looked great from any angle. There were initial struggles with polygon limits, but the team, particularly the Red Wing modeling designer, pushed for high polygon counts. The page features interviews with Takehiko Akabane, a Kubu modeler, and Fumihito Kondo, a battle part main programmer. Akabane mentions his role as a Japan-style Kubu modeler and how they aim to evolve the Kubu designs from Sakura Wars 2 to 3, leveraging the Dreamcast's power. Kondo explains the programming efforts for the battle parts, emphasizing the unique effect technologies they implemented. He highlights the use of fractal technology to ensure that even basic effects like recovery effects are never visually repetitive across multiple plays. This attention to detail was aimed at ensuring players wouldn't tire of the battle scenes, even with repeated play. He also mentions that there are hidden events and elements that only appear after multiple playthroughs, encouraging replayability. The article teases that the next installment will delve into the secrets of the adventure part of Sakura Wars 3. This page presents an interview focusing on the mecha illustrations for Sakura Wars 3, Paris Burning, featuring the work of illustrator Mika Akita. The interview discusses how the Kubu F units were designed to resemble cars from behind, incorporating a European-style influence, specifically drawing inspiration from Citroën for the back view and radiator design. Akita explains that the team aimed for high polygon counts in the models and paid close attention to textures and details like lines and markings on the units. The modeling team for the game was mentioned to be small. The initial design for Roberia's machine was also mentioned to have been inspired by Zaku from Gundam. Lastly, a unique detail for Ojigami's unit is highlighted: its sword sheath. This page continues the interview with Mika Akita, the mechanical designer for Sakura Wars 3. Akita mentions his aim to achieve a Gundam Century feel in his mecha designs. He discusses the design process for the Kubu F units, explaining weapon concepts like Kokuriko's Nyan missile and the cutting jack image for Roberia's weapon after initially considering a chain weapon. He also elaborates on the cooling systems, comparing them to car radiators, and the engine types, describing them as water-cooled. Akita details the color schemes, mentioning pink for Kokuriko and blue for Glycine to differentiate characters. He also touches on marking details, considering cat motifs for Kokuriko's unit and shark eye markings for Roberia's to reflect their personalities. The designs incorporate steam and jet engine influences and take inspiration from European car designs, specifically Citroën, for the rear view and radiator. Akita emphasizes his intent to create detailed and believable mecha, drawing from diverse inspirations to establish a unique style for Sakura Wars 3. He notes the initial design for Roberia's machine was inspired by Zaku from Gundam, and mentions the term shark eye, which refers to intimidating markings used on military vehicles. This page showcases the Kubu F Ogami Ichiro unit from Sakura Wars 3, which is described as a magnificent product of technology. The specifications table details that it stands at 1.8 meters tall and weighs 1.75 tons. Its weaponry consists of 2 large swords, and it is piloted by one person, Ogami Ichiro. The engine is a Rishi power engine, Orage F 11,665 horsepower. The text below the image describes the main weapon of the Ogami unit as 2 real swords, made of silex steel, mimicking Japanese swords, and forged with techniques from around 20 people. The Kubu F Ogami Ichiro unit from Sakura Wars 3, developed in France by Shin Kasei Industries, utilizes a turbine steam engine based on Japanese technology. Key features include a 130-degree field-of-view main camera, a manual escape hatch, and a UHF communication antenna. The Kubu F's power source is the Rishi power engine, an Orage F11 model. Rooted in 1919's Rishi power physics, the engine converts spiritual power into material energy. The system amplifies Rishi with a crystal amplifier, initiating the system via the Rishi reaction core. The engine heats water in a chemical reaction boiler to drive a steam turbine, powering a generator. A Rishi-powered furnace also converts Rishi into electricity. Key components are the boiler, reaction core, furnace, generator, turbine, radiator, water tank, valves, and catalyst tanks. Japanese technology, improved steam turbine output, and reaction efficiency. The steam turbine's high temperature and Rishi energy power the unit and its weaponry. This page is the Imperial and Paris Opera Company support page. Specifically the Imperial Capital Journal Revised Edition number 22. It starts with this week's Ichimai section, featuring a cat named Napoleon, submitted by a reader from Gifu Prefecture. The page announces a Kuran special feature Go, apologizing for being a little late. The page showcases fan submissions of Kuran illustrations from various prefectures in Japan. Each illustration is attributed to a different prefecture and artist name, such as Ibaraki Prefecture's Hitomiyu Mimiko-san, who draws Kuran in a Chinese style with pigtails and glasses, and Aichi Prefecture's Don Hosei-san, who focuses on Kuran's hairstyle. Other prefectures and artists are also listed with their interpretations of Kuran, including Osaka Prefecture, Fukuoka Prefecture, Shizuoka Prefecture, Saitama Prefecture, Tokyo Prefecture, Hokkaido Prefecture, Niigata Prefecture, and others. The editor-in-chief's words are included, mentioning that this edition is a special feature for Kuran, born on March 3rd, and that it is a celebration of her birthday. They also mention that they are happy to be able to do a Kuran special feature in March, her birthday month. The editor-in-chief mentions other character birthdays in April, including Yoneda, Kasumi, and Gurishinu, and ends with a casual tone. This page is a special Flower Strike Ranking 21 special, celebrating the release of Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, for the Dreamcast. It's a ranking page based on fan-submitted illustrations of characters from the Sakura Wars series. The top section highlights the top ranks, with Lenny leading at number 1 with 52 submissions, followed by Maria at number 2 with 49, and Sakura at number 3 with 47. Ranks continue down to number 15, featuring characters like Tsunomayer, Iris, Erika, Kana, Hanabi, Kokelikot, Kuran, Glycine, Orihime, and Lobelia. A separate Taisho captain ranking is also featured, with Ogami in 8th place. Outside of the main ranking, additional characters like Kikunojo, Kaede, Shi, Kasumi, Yuri, and Font are mentioned. The page includes illustrations of each character from the fan submissions, attributed to different prefectures and artist names. The text mentions that this ranking is particularly special due to the release of Sakura Wars 3 and notes the impact of the game's release on the rankings. It also provides information on where to send fan submissions of illustrations, texts, and photos for future magazine issues. This page is about the upcoming Dreamcast game, Sega, highlighting it as a Sega Revival Festival. The article jokingly acknowledges the rumors surrounding Sega but declares this magazine will focus on positive news, proclaiming, "Sega is not dead yet." The page details Sega as a game with RPG and simulation elements, where players aim for a 100% market share for Sega in the game industry. It emphasizes that to achieve this, players need to strategically manage and progress through these two parts of the game. It mentions the game development aspect is like fighting yourself, with RPG parts focusing on acquiring talent and simulation parts emphasizing parameter management. Two key characters are introduced. Sega Taro, a passionate youth who understands the harsh realities of the game industry and uses tough language in discussions, and Haneda Yayoi, an enigmatic girl with different motivations than Taro, who employs weapons instead of words in negotiations. Game data reveals Sega is developed by Sega and Hitmaker, scheduled for release on March 29th, priced at 5,800 yen, or a limited edition for 9,800 yen. It is an SLG, a simulation game focused on management, and is available on Disc 1 for 12 players. The game's official website is also listed. The article mentions it's a D-Direct exclusive for sales. A screenshot shows in-game stats and dialogue, with the advice that learning Karagenki Spirit and Isune Hisatsu techniques will make the situation easier. The Sega game features several key locations within Sega headquarters. The massive main headquarters, a symbol of Otori, houses various areas. Akihabara, a dark electric town demonic city, is where players secure shares and buy/sell items. The conference room, atop the main tower, is for strategy meetings and project assessments. The reference room documents project milestones, hinting at post-game surprises. The company store offers essential items like stamina recovery potions and equipment for the protagonist. The basic research room allows recruitment of creator allies, each requiring a monthly salary. Development rooms A, B, and C represent the challenges of game development, where searching, development in progress, or acquired statuses indicate the stage of events. These rooms also offer staff training outside of development. This page is a preview of the Sega game, focusing on the negotiation aspect of recruiting creators. The goal is to increase your team to 10 creators. The page highlights key points in negotiation: recovering stamina before negotiating, valuing money and not spending too much, and the 10-second negotiation time limit. The negotiation process involves understanding the creator's personality to answer questions effectively. It's mentioned that relying on intuition and prior knowledge is key to success. Goodwill affects negotiation outcomes, and it is better to increase goodwill as much as possible. There's also a warning against rapidly pressing buttons during negotiations, as it can reduce goodwill. Lastly, there's an extra tip about recruiting creators without negotiation, suggesting it's possible, but requires careful consideration of goodwill and money. Screenshots show in-game negotiation scenes, with characters and dialogue boxes related to the negotiation tips, and the negotiation success screen. The page emphasizes that understanding the negotiation system is crucial to building a strong team of creators in Sega. This guide outlines the steps to navigate R&D Department A in Sega. Progress involves battles and item acquisition. First, find a violent programmer. Level 4 recommended. Then, obtain flag water from the head office store using a golden flag seed and use it in the flag management room. Next, challenge the program chief. Level 6 suggested, using the golden flag to open a door. Afterwards, collect smoke from the occult room using a remote. Confront the design chief in the design room, using the processing drop technique, aided by an assistant, and recovery items. Then, find a middle manager in the materials room to get an item. Plant flags in the flower garden to create a path to the director's room. And finally, confront the A department director using processing drop, higher level recommended. The page also includes a map and a side story on the cancelled arcade game, R720. A flight simulator with significant development and public issues that concluded with a failed demonstration. This guide outlines a game development strategy aimed at achieving 1 million sales, building upon prior R&D knowledge. It recommends producing one marketable game before expanding. Key stages include team building, up to 7 members, focused development, and a pre-release forecast, 45% completion, to engage media. Beta versions at 75% allow sales to commence, emphasizing completion for higher sales. Monthly advertising campaigns are crucial for building anticipation and maximizing impact. The guide also details creator roles: directors, like Suzuki, designers, Game Ma, programmers, Monster Sabo, sound creators, Monthly Mudbank, and specialized roles, creation. Screenshots from Sega illustrate development management. The goal is to recruit cost-effective creators and strategically develop a game, with an initial sales target of 50,000 to 100,000 units within 2 months. High anticipation and a July release are highlighted as pathways to success. The next page is a guide on how to best interact with creators in Sega, using a carrot-and-stick approach. It emphasizes managing creator parameters like motivation, ability, and stamina, with command examples such as, "Let's go aggressively," "Take care of your body," "Study," and work harder. Giving early feedback during alpha and beta phases is crucial to influence the game's review level, using commands like more casually or work harder. The page also covers dealing with creators who might run away. The Sega memo section details the special command mo and its varied effects, ranging from stat recovery and boosts to negative outcomes like stat drains, bugs, and even staff desertion. Finally, the page introduces several creator archetypes: Master Operator, Mechanic Mania, Windbath Hater, Middle Management, Mecha King, Autumn Leaf King, Hong Kong Type A, Minus Thinking, Basic Macho, Naked King, Red Macho, and Green Macho, each with unique traits and skills impacting game development. R&D Department B in Sega is a challenging research facility where you must repair fractured team relationships, a result of a misinterpreted announcement from the department head, communicating from a giant shrimp. This guide focuses on navigating the area, which requires leveling up due to the tougher bosses. Your primary task is to unite the Flower, Moon, and Star groups. Key steps include listening to the shrimp announcement, seeking help from Sega employee Ramen, especially concerning the Moon Group leader, and avoiding immediate contact with the Star Group leader before resolving the issues within the Moon Group to avoid imprisonment. A map highlights group locations, the Shrimp Plaza, and other important rooms. Gameplay hints provide advice on using a mobile phone, utilizing Ramen, acquiring key items, and consulting with a reflection room person to successfully progress through the department. This strategy guide for Sega's R&D Department B details several challenges. Players face the Star Group leader using the cold talk technique, then navigate a spy accusation against Setagaya Taro. They'll also hide and sneak into the port. The guide covers a 70-person kumite in the Flower Group dojo, culminating in a brainwashed leader and detention, requiring D-Pro's assistance to reverse the brainwashing. The Flower Group's programming chief, Adult Children, is revealed as a key antagonist. Players will encounter rampaging systems triggered by 3 GDROMs, tested by past training, and aided by Yada Yayoi. The guide includes a side note about Akihabara shopping, detailing useful items from specific stores to improve gameplay. The next section will focus on C research and introduce a direct challenge from Yajin Kaorin. This page is a preview for the gun-shooting game Confidential Mission, developed by Hitmaker for the Sega Dreamcast. It highlights the game's spy theme, describing it as a stylish gun-shooting experience in the vein of 007, where players become spies to thwart terrorist ambitions using dandyism and sexy spy heroines. The game features 2 playable characters, Howard Gibson for Player 1 and Gene Clifford for Player 2. The page includes an interview with Hitmaker staff Satoshi Hori and Miyakumagai, who are likely key developers discussing the game. The game data section indicates a summer 2001 release in Japan, priced at 5,800 yen. It's categorized as a spy gun shooting game, SHT, and supports VGA output, arcade stick, and the Dreamcast gun controller. Screenshots show in-game action, and text details how the game recreates the world of spies, with new elements and stylish presentation, emphasizing a aim-and-shoot style of gameplay, rather than machine gun-focused action seen in other games. It's stated that Confidential Mission is positioned as the king of Sega-style gun-shooting games. The text also mentions that this Dreamcast version includes new modes and features that can be enjoyed by both beginners and experienced players. The Dreamcast version of Confidential Mission expands on the arcade experience with several new modes. Mission replicates the arcade game in its entirety. Argent Academy is a training mode to refine shooting skills, focusing on differentiating between targets. Partner mode is a 2-player cooperative mode where players must work together. Display off mode removes the HUD for a more challenging experience, forcing players to rely on audio and visual cues. Additional features include Top Argent, high scores, option, settings, and CMFHEADQUARTERS, online strategy. The Dreamcast version also features enhanced CG movies and emphasizes the spy theme, drawing inspiration from the spy films of 2000 to deepen the player's immersion. Confidential Mission features 3 main missions with arcade-quality graphics and surprising depth. Mission 1 is a museum infiltration, Mission 2 is a train battle, and Mission 3 is a final stronghold assault culminating in a fight against the terrorist leader, Agalus. The game boasts replayability through branching paths, events, and unlockable content. Developers discuss game design, including the Another World mode for altered enemy placement and adjustments to enemy difficulty based on feedback. They incorporated features like ranking displays, mission select, and a display off mode for advanced players. They emphasize catering to both core and wider audiences, aiming for long-term enjoyment and encouraging multiplayer. The developers also address concerns about Dreamcast production, assuring players of continued software releases and urging them to purchase with confidence. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Crazy Taxi 2, announcing its release date of May 31, 2001. The page highlights two key new features under the title Topics of this Week, New Courses, and Group Customers. Regarding new courses, the article mentions that the new stages are finally revealed, inspired by New York City, and will have a different atmosphere compared to the previous game. It also mentions a new action called Crazy Hop. For group customers, the article emphasizes this as a major systemic change from the previous game. It explains that players will now transport groups of customers, which will require new strategies and approaches to gameplay, suggesting a significant shift in how missions are tackled compared to the original Crazy Taxi. The screenshots showcase the new city environments and some of the group customers in action. This page continues the preview of Crazy Taxi 2 and delves into the details of the new courses named Around Apple and Small Apple. These new stages are inspired by New York City, offering a different vibe from the original game's locations. The Around Apple course features iconic locations, such as a grand bridge reminiscent of the Brooklyn Bridge, a city hall area, and a stock exchange district, evoking Wall Street's financial atmosphere. Other areas include a botanic garden set in a suburban area, a university campus with impressive buildings, and a large stadium located in a northern district, with a baseball field theme. The Small Apple course presents locations like a factory zone with tall chimneys, described as challenging for expert players, and a jeweler's shop area, transitioning from a northern district into a building-filled cityscape. The page also highlights a new gameplay mechanic called Crazy Hop. This new action is showcased with a series of screenshots showing a taxi performing a jump, demonstrating how players can now use jumps to navigate the environment and potentially reach new areas or shortcuts within these New York-inspired stages. This page introduces the new Group Customers feature in Crazy Taxi 2. It explains that group sizes are between 24 people, indicated by numbers and colors above their heads, and you must deliver the entire group to get a tip. The page details 4 types of group customers: Rockabilly, who are described as wanting to go to fun places; AFLO, who met at a mirror ball exhibition at an art museum and are interested in vintage shops and mirror balls; cheerleaders, who are high school cheerleaders; and street performers, who are world-traveling street performers always looking for new acts. The page also details 2 returning minigame modes from the previous Crazy Taxi game, which are Crazy Box, a skill-based minigame mode aimed at improving player skills, and Crazy Pyramid, another mode with currently unknown details, however it is pyramid-shaped. This page is an advertisement for 2 Magazine, issue 239, dated April 13, 2001. It highlights features including coverage of March-released games and Tokyo Game Show 2001 Spring. The magazine comes with a double-sided poster featuring Wind of Kronoa 2 and Biohazard Code, Veronica Complete Version. The advertisement also lists strategy guides available for purchase, including Densha to Go 3 Commute Edition Perfect Guide, Fire Pro Wrestling D the Complete, various guides and fan books for Saskatsuku Tokudai Gao, J-League Pro Soccer Club O Tsukuru, Big Special Edition, Canon Official Guide, Sentimental Graffiti Official Guide, Persona World Guidance, Grandia 2 Official Setting Material Collection, Valkyrie Profile Setting Material Collection, Reprint Edition Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner World Guidance, Canvas Sepia Color Motif Official Guide, Angel Present Official Guide, and Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning? Is Naiads. Strategy Guide Volume 1. An internet purchase campaign is advertised, offering postcards for purchasing SoftBank books online. This page is a reader submission section called Dori Maga Hiroba. It opens with Free Talk with Robo, where readers discuss games like Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, and Phantasy Star Online. One reader notes the increase in Dreamcast users, and another mentions enjoying the DC version of Doraemon for its portrayal of characters like Jian and Suneo. There's talk about the Eco the Dolphins, Samba de Amigo Ver 2000, and Rent a Hero No. 1. Featured is a Robo Tommy special for the new school term. announcing a mass-produced Robo-Tommy for home use, priced from 2,980 yen, highlighting its capabilities in editing and harsh language. It also mentions the increasing number of people who cannot distinguish between the Sakura Wars characters Kokoriko and Kun, but find them both cute, and briefly references Sega. Finally, there's a Dori Hiroba weekly schedule, spanning from March 30th to April 5th, listing daily themes and names. Tokyo Game Show 2001 Spring is mentioned on March 30th. On April 4th, Private Justice Academy is listed, which is likely referring to the game Rival Schools United by Fate. The Dorimaga Art Club showcases reader artwork. Featured pieces include Crazy Taxi art from Oita Prefecture, 100 Swords art from Fukuoka Prefecture, Kanon and Bamboo Blade art from Fukui Prefecture, Canvas sepia-colored motif art from Miyagi Prefecture, and Natsume Ryu in a cafe scene from Hokkaido. The art club encourages energetic submissions. Additionally, the page highlights 2 recommended movies. Green Fingers is a prison gardening film, and Sea of Life is a suspenseful drama set in a mental hospital. Finally, a ranking section lists movies about overcoming the past, with Castaway topping the list, followed by Snatch and other films. Analyses. The next page showcases reader artwork in the Dorimaga Art Club. There's PSO art from Shizuoka and Chiba prefectures, Boku Doraemon art from Hokkaido, Space Channel 5 art from Tokyo, Ilishin artwork from Osaka, and VF5000 art from Kanagawa and Miyagi prefectures. Below the artwork, an article titled Game Shop Outside Kamita, Game Infrastructure Enhancement, discusses the state of mobile internet and online gaming in Japan. It mentions that while Japan is behind in broadband, mobile internet is prevalent. The article explores topics like iMode apps, game infrastructure, user numbers for services like EaseWeb and JSky, and the potential of mobile internet for online gaming. It highlights the cost of mobile internet usage as a key issue, suggesting that reducing costs could boost online gaming infrastructure in Japan. The author, Shimakawa Yoshiaki, touches on the idea that mobile phones, or keitai, are evolving rapidly, even surpassing PCs in some aspects, but connection fees are a barrier. The article concludes with the potential for expanding online gaming if infrastructure issues are addressed. The monthly Dorimaga Wheel highlights Dreamcast online gaming, spurred by the price drop. It recommends Phantasy Star Online, 100 Swords, and Guru Guru Onsen Online for beginners. Readers praise Phantasy Star Online v.2 for its gameplay and community. The Letter Research Institute features humorous reader submissions and editor commentary centered on a Street Fighter II move and character nicknames. The Book Me section recommends Mysterious Logic for its humorous take on pseudoscience, the Monty Python Encyclopedia for Japanese fans, and How to Read the Bible Nobody Teaches You, offering a fresh perspective on the Bible. A ranking table showcases reader-voted games, including Baikinkin, Balkan, and others, followed by a list of additional game votes. This page presents various sections, starting with the Dorimaga Style Postcard Question Box by YoH. A reader Q&A where YoH answers questions about submissions. One question asks about using word processors for submissions, and another about character limits. YoH indicates word processors are fine and character limits are flexible, but encourages concise and clear writing. The Ophthalmologist Garden Yukichi Volume 6 section focuses on characters with glasses. Readers have sent in illustrations and comments on characters like Bad Guys with Glasses and Calm Glasses Guys. Games mentioned in this section include Justice Gakuen, Rival Schools, and Phantasy Star Online, where players are discussing character design and preferences related to glass-wearing characters. The World Theater section showcases reader-created scenarios and dialogues, featuring cute, rabbit-like characters in a humorous situation about running away and hiding. The Nanoraspec section details the character Chob, describing it as a character with sexual overtones. It mentions Venton Sensei as the creator, and discusses the character's appeal and design concepts. Finally, Battleturb Boom Affair delves into the game Battleturb, likely a Japanly fighting game. It discusses gameplay elements like coins, bugs, and various character types, including animal-themed characters like cats, rabbits, and bears. The section also name-drops Virtual Armor and Raiden, suggesting a connection or comparison to those mecha fighting games. This page delves into Shenmue Chapter 1, with a focus on the complete edition. There are cartoon panels showing scenes from the game, emphasizing director's cuts and detailed scenes. It also presents a Shenmue power distribution map and a comic strip titled Suzuki X Chapter Lolita. Another section teases a Shenmue final chapter, showing a dramatic image of two older characters, humorously labeled as Elderly Man Who Likes Flowers in Hokkaido and Tokyo J9. The text mentions what kind of drama will unfold in Hong Kong, suggesting this final chapter is related to future Shenmue installments, or a humorous take on the series progression beyond the first game and into the Hong Kong setting of Shenmue 2. The page also features this week's CD release information, showcasing album reviews for various music releases. These include 4-Force by Every Little Thing, an album featuring popular tracks like Graceful World, Jirenma, and Fragile. Desert Moon by Paris Match, a Maxa single with a groovy and sophisticated sound. Hotel Scandinavia by Yuko Yamaguchi, an album produced by the Merrymakers, described as having a pop sound. A Best by Ayumi Hamasaki, a best-of album featuring 16 hit songs. Max Yterrorism by Uzumaki, a single described as high-tension and energetic, linked to Dragon Ash's tour. Seasonal Journey Spring, Summer, Autumn, Winter by Chiharu Matsuyama, a best album commemorating 25 years of activity, featuring 52 tracks across 4 discs. This page highlights game-related rumors, news, and comic strips. Unconfirmed Information Bureau reveals secrets like name changes in the Game Boy Advance, Choo Choo Rocket, a rumored band featuring a Shenmue-era Madonna, and the cancellation of Yadzaki's Magic Bra. Players of Phantasy Star Online may find a Ope missile weapon for Rakasil, and Sakura Wars 3 has an ending set in a dream resort. Several short comic strips are presented. These include Flower and Fire Grandfather, Zeta-Rusama, and Rice Paddy Grandfather's Shout, as well as localized comics reflecting various Japanese prefectures. Finally, the page features a profile of Sakurawi Tomo, a singer, actress, and voice actress, and an article by her titled Pet: What to Do?, detailing her experiences with pet ownership. This page includes reader opinions and magazine corner details. In the Dorimaga opinion box, a reader from Ibaraki Prefecture named Blue Monday discusses the comfort of modern games compared to the Super Famicom era, noting the inconvenience of loading times with CD, GD, and DVD-ROM games. They suggest game design should consider quick access like the internet. The This Week's Fukukawa section has short humorous comics, including a comic about the Dreamcast startup sound being similar to a Tamagotchi's end sound, and another mentioning Dream Battle Dragon. There are also localized prefecture-based comics. The Is It Love corner discusses Julian Love, and mentions that reader popularity votes are about 50% in favor of it. A reader from Tokyo comments on Julian Love being like a debut work for Julian Lennon, and asks if the Shining series, specifically Shining Force 2i, is difficult on the Dreamcast, hoping to keep the passion for it alive. The page features a point ranking of readers, listing many names with point values. There's a guidance of each corner section, listing various magazine corners, such as Free Talk with Robo, Monthly Dorimaga Staff Report, Dorimaga Public Opinion Box, and True Interesting Submission Corner. Finally, there are submission rules for reader contributions, detailing how to send in submissions and address information for postcards. Fumio Kurokawa's Neo Black OR column analyzes the game industry's current status, starting with the death of Sega chairman Mr. Okawa. Kurokawa highlights the PlayStation 2's rapid success, reaching 10 million units shipped globally by March 23, significantly faster than the original PlayStation. However, he expresses concern over the software lineup. The game industry this week's news headlines cover various topics: Sega's amusement facility reorganization, Sanrio's stock surge, speculation about Xbox's ability to run PlayStation software, worries about the industry's health ahead of the Tokyo Game Show, the release of chocolate eggs, and individual licensing for professional baseball players in games. The page concludes with a call for reader submissions related to columns and market analysis. The anime Comic Party, adapted from the Aqua Plus game, is scheduled for 13 episodes starting in April. It follows Kazuki Sendao, a high school student drawn into the doujinshi fan-made works world by his friend Taishi Kuhuin. Key characters include Kazuki's childhood friend, Mizuki Takase, and fellow artist, Yuki Shinmeikawa. The story centers on Kazuki's experiences at comic party events and his discovery of his artistic talent. The anime will showcase human interactions and passions within this community. Additionally, the page announces the full-scale launch of J-Am Project, a music project dedicated to anime songs, featuring artists like Ichiro Mizuki and Hironobu Kageyama. A 2-CD release in April will include theme songs for The Soul Taker Tamashii Gari and Super Robot Taisen Alpha Gaiden. The page concludes with release details for these songs. Several anime DVDs and upcoming series are announced. Gatekeepers Volume 7, Miyuki, Alp's Story Mayonette Volume 1, Movie Arslan Senki OVA Collection, Armored Trooper Votum's ACT.9, Hyper God Warrior Dangaio 3 OVA ACT.14, and Macross 7 Volume .1 are now available. Additionally, there are 3 18+ releases: Security Guard 18+ Episode 3, Humiliation City 18+ Shame Ceremony, and Shusaku Sex File 18+. Upcoming series include Magic Users Club Louie on WOWOW starting April 3rd, and The Soul Taker Soul Hunter, a digital high-vision anime by Tatsunoko Pro, starting April 4th on WOWOW. The Soul Taker is a dark SF horror with action elements. This page is a humorous comic strip titled Something Yoshimatsu Theater, focusing on Sega games. It seems to be a parody situation where characters are discussing appearing on an NHK TV program. The characters are represented by game consoles on their heads, with one wearing a PS2 console and the other wearing a console labeled Somi and Pure Suterus, which likely refers to PlayStation. They are discussing ideas for a game, and one character suggests Whale Belly Bursting Operation as a potential title. The comic also mentions Sega Saturn and refers to the upcoming release of the PlayStation 2 this week. The bottom text provides a brief biography of the creator, Something Yoshimatsu, an animator born in 1965 who works on both front-facing and back-facing animations, with the latter featured in an NHK BS2 program. This page showcases 2 amusing comic strips. On the left is DC Fan Story by Tokumitsu Yasuyuki, which uses characters that look like game consoles in a repetitive comedic sequence about things being overly funny, followed by relatable gripes about hunger and lack of sleep, before concluding with a meta-joke about the need for a punchline in a 4-panel comic. On the right, March My Private by Kadoi Aya shows a person excitedly presenting a receipt from Family Mart with a lucky total of 777, mistaking the other person's reaction as wanting them to throw it away, when they were actually intending to display it as a good luck charm during tax return season. Brief biographies of both artists are also provided. Tokumitsu Yasuyuki is known for Mandarake Revenge Comics and Saikyo Cho, Super, Pro Wrestling Fan Retsuden, and is currently working on Bursting Otaku Teacher, and is a big fan of Sakura Wars. Kadoi Aya is recognized for her cute character designs and storyboard work on Underclassmate, Refrain Blue Sky, and previously Sega Saturn Girl, with her recent work titled Just Meet Elf. This page features an interview with movie director Juji Matsuoka, discussing his latest film, The Acacia Way. The film centers around the themes of abuse and caregiving in parent-child relationships. Matsuoka explains the movie explores the complex dynamic of a mother and daughter, where the mother's dementia and the daughter's past experiences of abuse create a strained relationship. He aims to depict the healing process and the possibility of rebuilding trust between them, emphasizing the importance of facing trauma rather than running away from it. The interview delves into Matsuoka's intention to portray the raw and painful aspects of these themes honestly, while also highlighting the potential for hope and reconciliation. He mentions that the film is not about offering easy catharsis, but rather about confronting difficult emotions and finding a path towards understanding. The profile section provides biographical information about Juji Matsuoka, stating he was born in Aichi Prefecture in 1961 and became interested in film from a young age. He entered the film industry after graduating from Nihon University College of Art in 1990. His notable works include Batashi Goldfish, commercial film debut, Sparkling Light, and Toilet no Hanakosen, Hanako of the Toilet. This page is an advertisement for a strategy guidebook for the Dreamcast game J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsuk, known internationally as Sega Worldwide Soccer Manager Series. The guide is described as a complete guide and a special issue focusing on the game. It promises in-depth coverage of key elements such as team management, player training, team strategy, and personnel decisions. It highlights the 4 major elements with thorough analysis and promises to reveal all the important points to succeed in the game. The guide covers various aspects from club management and finances to player development, tactics, and team building. It also mentions detailed player and coach data, including over 4,988 players and 1,008 coaches and scouts. The book is slated for release in early April, and further special issues are planned, including a player directory and a strategy and fan book. The next page shows the questionnaire answer section from Dreamcast Magazine. Readers are instructed on how to fill it out correctly using numbers in designated boxes for machine processing. The survey covers personal details such as gender, age, occupation, and reading habits, but focuses on Dreamcast and gaming preferences. It asks about favorite magazines, opinions on the current magazine's cover and poster, Dreamcast hardware ownership, and future game and hardware purchase intentions. The page features lists of Dreamcast hardware and a very extensive Dreamcast software list, showcasing the variety of games available on the platform, spanning various genres. This page is focused on NEC Interchannel's Dreamcast presence, declaring that their Dreamcast games are still popular even after spring. It mentions that 2 new titles were announced at a fan event on March 25th. The article reflects on the news of Dreamcast hardware production stopping, but reassures readers about the continued excitement around Interchannel's games. The game Canvas is highlighted, suggesting a new release, potentially a complete edition with more heroines, and it emphasizes that gamers enjoy Love Girls type of games. The page includes images of characters from what appears to be Canvas. This page appears to continue the focus on NEC Interchannel's Dreamcast games, possibly still riding high in popularity even after spring. The text, Their Love Song, and To the Clear Blue Sky of Shikoku are prominently displayed alongside artwork of 2 anime girls in school uniforms, suggesting these are heroines from one of their games, possibly related to the Love Girl genre mentioned previously. The Dory Maga Special Report and the 30% completion indicator suggest this is a preview of a title still in development, maybe a continuation or new entry in the Canvas series, given the thematic connection. This page details the Dreamcast version of the PC hit romance adventure game Canaria by NEC Interchannel. Originally a PC game from the previous summer, Canaria gained popularity due to its engaging story and appealing characters. The Dreamcast version is set in a high school light music club located in the Shikoku countryside, where the protagonist, a second-year high school student, navigates romantic relationships. The Dreamcast port promises enhancements over the PC version and introduces a brand new heroine named Mai Hoshino. Mai is described as a natural airhead and a performer in the light music club. The game data section confirms NEC Interchannel as the developer, lists the genre as romance adventure, indicates a scheduled August release with the price yet to be determined, and provides the NEC Interchannel website address. This page spotlights Sayeki Ayana, a main heroine from the Dreamcast romance adventure game Canaria. She is introduced as a calm and gentle guitarist within the story. The page details how the protagonist's move to Shikoku leads to encounters with Ayana and another key heroine, Mika Katagiri, before school even begins at Kotohira Academy. Ayana is described as having a gentle and calm demeanor, fitting for her role as the guitarist in the light music club. While she may appear to be slow-paced, she's actually quite skilled with the guitar and excels academically. She's generally kind-hearted and rarely gets angry. The text also hints at in-game scenes, like one where Ayana is in class, looking sideways, possibly at the protagonist. Her character profile lists her height as 160 centimeters, birthday as August 6th, blood type A, and her measurements, confirming her status as a central figure in the game's romantic narrative. This page introduces Katagiri Mika, another main heroine from the Dreamcast romance adventure game Canaria. Mika is depicted as a spirited and boyish drummer for the light music club, in contrast to Ayana's calmer demeanor. While boyish, Mika is also described as a reliable and older sister type of person. Her character profile lists her height as 156 centimeters, birthday as January 1st, blood type AB, and her measurements. The text emphasizes Mika's drumming role within the light music club and mentions her surprisingly powerful and charming singing voice, even though she doesn't aim to be the vocalist in the band. The story of Canaria revolves around music-related themes like songs, instruments, and bands. The page also highlights that the PC version of Canaria includes 5 songs as part of the game, including insert songs. The page details the Light Music Club's lineup: Ayana on guitar, Mika on drums, Ryota on bass, June on keyboard, and the protagonist also playing guitar. A crucial plot point mentioned is the vocalist's unstable situation and how this problem is resolved, which is a significant aspect of the game's narrative. Screenshots on the page show Mika singing karaoke and a scene of the band members eating together. This page highlights more heroines related to the band theme, specifically Megumi Chisaki and Chiaki Shinjo. Megumi is introduced as an unnamed idol who has run away from a photo shoot in Shikoku due to issues with staff. To earn money for her return to Tokyo, she busks and sings in the protagonist's town. She is depicted as energetic, quick-tempered, and even violent, with a selfish and problematic personality, despite being musically talented. Chiaki Shinjo is presented as the protagonist's cousin and a senior figure to Ayana and the others in the Light Music Club. She is described as the daughter of the owner of a rental studio near the school and acts like an older sister to the protagonist, being caring and helpful. While mature and reliable, she sometimes tells confusing jokes. As an OG member of the Light Music Club, she is connected to the studio where the band practices and interacts with other band members besides the protagonist. There's also a small section mentioning Megumi's singing voice in the streets and highlighting her eccentric personality and musical talent. Another section, titled Chiaki-san's Private Lesson, explains that Chiaki assists the protagonist with studying due to them falling behind after a school transfer, and their relationship is described as being akin to that of siblings. This page introduces Eri Hozumi, the protagonist's younger sister, who is described as sociable and helpful. She's responsible for waking up the protagonist every morning and is popular amongst the boys at school. Despite her seemingly reliable nature, she's also unexpectedly clumsy. She has a strong brother complex and enjoys teasing the protagonist's Light Music Club, likely stemming from her own musical background, playing piano since childhood and having a good sense of rhythm. Her vital statistics are also provided. The game setting is discussed under the keyword canary, emphasizing a nostalgic and ordinary rural town rather than an exaggerated countryside. The setting is designed to feel familiar and moderately open, with a shopping district, schools, and residential areas, aiming to evoke a sense of nostalgia for the player. The relationships between the protagonist and the heroines are clarified, highlighting that many of them are band members. The band members are listed as Ayana, Megumi, Kaori, Nana, and Iri, who are all classmates and bandmates, suggesting their initial relationships are straightforward. While becoming friends might be easy, developing deeper connections could be more challenging. Finally, Ivry is mentioned again in the relative section alongside Chiaki, focusing on how the protagonist can move beyond a sibling relationship with Ivry and treat her as a heroine. It's noted that Ivry is a good cook, and the question is raised about how to consider her alongside other heroines, hinting that she possesses a secret. This page is a game preview for Dukyusei Again, which is described as a friendship love story game featuring 5 boys and 6 girls. It's set in a nostalgic town and centers around relationships that start with friendship but could develop into something more. The game is positioned as a sequel to the PC dating simulation adventure game Dukyusei, released in 1996, and Friends, Seishun no Kagayaki, released in 1999, both PC titles. Dukyusei Again is being ported to the Dreamcast and will include original elements. The game is set to be released in January and is described as warming the hearts of boys and girls who have kept various feelings secret. The scenario focuses on friendship and romance. A screenshot shows a scene in-game with dialogue, where a character named Midori mentions going to the church with another character called Rika, but Rika disappears. The text suggests this is a scene from the Dreamcast version and implies new arrangements will be made in the DC version. This page introduces character profiles for Dukyusei Again, a friendship and love story game. Character details are provided for Mizuho Kobayakawa, a kind and gentle girl who appears delicate but is secretly strong-willed, and Ayu Wakabayashi, a cheerful and outgoing girl who loves to take care of others and is from a fish shop. Personal data sections for both girls include their birthday, blood type, height, weight, 3 sizes, and occupation as 2 ND-year private university students. The page also highlights a section called Angel and Snow, describing a romantic evening scene where 2 people walk home together in the snowy night, with the twinkling stars and snow, creating a beautiful atmosphere. Finally, there's a profile for the main character, Tatsuya Kubo, described as a good all-rounder in sports and studies, popular with friends, and someone who values family. It mentions he hasn't had a girlfriend yet because of his childhood friend Ayu always being there for him. And the game explores whether new feelings will emerge at their reunion. His personal data is also listed, similar to the girls. Dreamcast Magazine introduces 4 characters from Dukyusei Again. Midori Akiyama, a food-loving and observant girl, harbors insecurities despite her lively nature. Yosuke Takiguchi, the fun-loving friend, is a supportive and former boyfriend of Midori. Kanako Sayeki, the polite one with a boyfriend, feels uneasy about her relationship. Finally, Ryusuke Shiraishi, the athletic and romance-clueless tennis player, is dating Kanako, though their relationship is platonic. A small section hints at relationship issues between Kanako and Ryusuke, suggesting unspoken feelings and potential problems. This page of Dreamcast Magazine presents characters from Dukyusei Again, a game centered around reunions and relationships. We are introduced to 4 key figures. Makoto Kanu is depicted as a mature and glamorous university student and model, a friend of Tatsuya. Described as hardworking and well-liked, she is currently seeking Tatsuya's help to learn swimming for an upcoming overseas filming project. Fujio Kurakake is introduced as the heir to a wealthy financial group, completely devoted to Makoto since middle school. Despite his privileged background and sometimes selfish behavior, he remains persistent in his pursuit of Makoto, even when she is cold towards him. Suzuka Ogata, appearing cool and sharp, is revealed to be surprisingly caring and domestic beneath the surface. Working for a cosmetics company, she is shown consulting with Makoto, and is also hinted to have concerns about her younger brother, Kenta. Finally, Susumu Endo is presented as a top student and Tatsuya's best friend, currently attending a prestigious national university. Despite his intelligence, he is portrayed as overconfident and somewhat lacking in empathy. He is described as having a long-standing rivalry with Yosuke, and is now developing a different kind of interest in Suzuka, whom he previously disliked in middle school. The page hints at the character dynamics and potential romantic entanglements within the game, revolving around these individuals and their evolving relationships in a reunion setting. This page is an advertisement for the upcoming Dreamcast game, Canvas Seppiaro no Motif. The ad mentions it's a simulation game nearing its release, ported from the Windows version, and features new event graphics and a summary of the story's ending. The text asks if the reader has ever wandered in their youth. It promotes a special pre-release feature and reveals new screenshots, stating the game is at 100% completion. Game data includes details such as release date in April, price of 7,200 yen, genre as SLG, simulation game, website address, and VGA support. Canvas Seppiaro no Motif on the Dreamcast features a gameplay flow spanning 2 weeks, divided into 3 arcs exploring themes of self-discovery. The game introduces Ami Mihari, a watercolor proficient junior, as a key character, mirroring the protagonist's skills and role. The protagonist, Dai Onuki, name changeable, is a typical high school student and talented watercolor painter. His father's frequent travels leave him living alone. Despite his artistic talent, opportunities to fully showcase his abilities within the game are limited. The text also highlights the dialogue's duality. Seemingly cheerful lines may conceal deeper sensitivity, as exemplified by character quotes. This page previews the Dreamcast game, Canvas Sepia-Colored Motif, focusing on characters Kusunoki Amane and Misaki Aya. Amane, an art club member with a strong affection for the protagonist, is detailed with her physical attributes and her admiration for his painting. Misaki, a calm and mature childhood friend, is also described, sharing attributes and their close relationship fostered by a drawing and a daily morning routine. The game's core mechanic involves the protagonist pursuing one of 6 girls to achieve a happy ending, requiring the player to increase his drawing motivation. Players must focus on one route at a time. The page highlights the individual themes of each character's scenario. For example, Aman's is escape from friend territory, while Azaya's is same art painting club, shared worries. The overall theme explores love and family-like relationships, encouraging players to explore the diverse scenarios. This page features character profiles from the Dreamcast game, Canvas Sepia-Colored Motif. First, there's Shichijo Yuko, a classmate from elementary school, who is described as a hard worker, inspired by the protagonist's drawings. Her profile details her height, weight, sizes, blood type, and birthday, mentioning her desire to fly higher and further in high jump, despite lacking natural talent. Next is Kimikage Sayuri, a senior student who is described as someone who bears a complex about her name being related to Lily, or Yuri, which is also a name related to flowers. Her profile lists her height, weight, sizes, blood type, and birthday, noting her quiet and melancholic personality. She is a member of the Hostess Club and works part-time. Then there's Sakurazaka Koi, a popular student and a year younger than the protagonist, who suddenly becomes his stepsister because their parents remarried. Her profile includes her height, weight, sizes, blood type, and birthday. It mentions her striking looks and popularity, and hints at a strained relationship with the protagonist due to their new family situation. Finally, Misato Yu is introduced as an older woman, described as being like an older sister to the protagonist when he lost his mother in childhood. Her profile lists her height, weight, sizes, blood type, and birthday. She had suddenly moved away in the past, but has recently returned to town. The text highlights her kind and gentle nature, with a slightly clumsy side, and her warm smile. The next page highlights Rune Dim as Black Soul, which marks Idea Factory's first foray onto the Dreamcast platform. Known for their PlayStation Spectral Force series, Idea Factory presents this simulation game, currently 50% complete at the time of this Dreamcast Magazine special report. The tagline, "A whirlwind of flames runs through the wilderness," hints at the game's setting and themes. Set for a provisional May release at 5,800 yen, Rune Dim is visually represented with anime-style characters and mecha illustrations. Idea Factory emphasizes this as a significant new title for the Dreamcast, aimed at captivating their established fanbase. This title remained exclusive to Japan and was never released internationally. This page focuses on Rune Dim as Black Soul, a tactical simulation game for the Dreamcast by Idea Factory. The game boasts a high-performance AI system called Narrated Thinking. The page introduces three main characters. Yutaka equals Osaki is a skilled RB pilot, but described as cold and having a gray heart due to a past incident. Hiroko equals Photo is a righteous and protective RB pilot, contrasting Yutaka's personality. Lastly, Yosefu equals Harutsuhoku is a mysterious and taciturn negotiator, formerly a soldier. Gameplay features highlighted include battles taking place on hex-based maps and seamless transitions during combat scenes. Players can customize their RB units by enhancing weapons and equipment, suggesting strategic unit deployment is key to missions. The game involves missions such as transportation, defense, and assassination. The player will operate from a hideout to manage missions and customize their RB units before heading to the battlefield. This interview with staff from Idea Factory and Yuki Enterprise discusses the Dreamcast tactical simulation game Run equals Dim as Black Soul. The primary focus is on the Narrated Thinking AI system. The interview features Ichitaka Hosobuchi, graphics lead, Shingo Kuwana, Idea Factory producer, and Takayuki Iijima, Yuki Enterprise planning/scenario. They explain that Narrated Thinking emphasizes strategic depth and challenging gameplay over visual flair. Idea Factory was drawn to the AI's ability to create a challenging opponent, similar to shogi and chess. Yuki Enterprise, known for games requiring strategic thinking, prioritized core gameplay elements over visual spectacle for Run equals Dim. The goal was to create a balanced SLG where the player and CPU compete strategically, with an emphasis on smart gameplay over numerical advantages. A screenshot showcases the game's hex-based mecha combat. The next page continues discussing the game Run equals Dim as Black Soul and its appeal, highlighting the thrill of battling an AI opponent that feels like a human player. The interview mentions how the mission difficulty adapts to the player's unique thinking style. The scenario concept centers around the question, why do we fight, and explores anti-war themes, despite depicting conflict. Graphically detailed, the game simplifies battle scenes for faster pacing. The title, Run equals Dim, is further explained, with UN equals Dim relating to the title. Excitingly, the page announces the Run equals Dim TV anime adaptation is set to start broadcasting on Sunday, April 1st at 6:30 a.m. on TV Tokyo and other affiliated channels, for a total of 13 episodes. The anime story is set in the year 2052 and revolves around the protagonist Kazuto Moriguchi, a young RB pilot. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Typing Evangelion E-Project. It's a typing tutor game designed to help you learn touch typing while using the Evangelion anime theme and characters. The game features a keyboard interface on screen and screenshots hint at in-game scenarios. Game data highlights a release date in April and a price of 6,800 yen. The page also provides a brief overview of the Neon Genesis Evangelion anime series, mentioning its original broadcast years and themes, along with details on the Evangelion DVD releases, including special editions and included content. It seems to be promoting the whole Evangelion franchise and the typing game as part of it. This page is a guide on how to play Typing Evangelion E Project. It introduces the game as a fun way to master touch typing with Evangelion characters guiding you. The guide details the lessons available, starting with basic keyboard practice in Lesson 1, moving to scenarios based on the anime in later lessons. Lesson 2 challenges you to stop the rampaging Angel J.A. by typing codes, reminiscent of the 7th episode. Lesson 3 involves shooting practice within an EVA unit, requiring timed typing. The game also features an online ranking system to track your progress against other players and see how you fare in the rankings. The page is clearly designed to encourage players to engage with the game's lessons and improve their typing skills while enjoying the Evangelion theme. This page is focused on Atelier Marie and Ellie, a role-playing game from the Atelier series. The headline declares, "The Atelier series' 2 main titles finally combined and released." It highlights that the first 2 games in the series, Atelier Marie and Atelier Ellie, are being combined for the Dreamcast release. The page details the game's premise, stating the objective is to graduate from the academy. Marie, a clumsy alchemist student, has been given a workshop and 5 years to prove herself to her teacher to graduate. The game mechanics involve gathering materials outside of town and creating items through alchemy. Atelier Marie focuses on Marie graduating, while Atelier Ellie follows Ellie, who aims to become an alchemist after admiring Marie. Game data includes a release date of March 31st and a price of 7,800 yen, 420 points. The game is noted to be an RPG, new sensory role-playing, on 2 GDROM discs, supporting VGA output. A special bonus is mentioned, a fairy-themed mobile phone strap. The page mentions the popularity of the Atelier series on PlayStation, and that this Dreamcast version combines the first and second games onto one disc, enhanced for Dreamcast with improved movies and graphics. A section titled, Movie Edition Newly Added, explains that while event scenes in Atelier Marie were static images, Atelier Ellie on Dreamcast features movie sequences during events. The PS version had low-resolution movies, but the Dreamcast version has higher-resolution movies. Atelier Marie and Ellie. The Alchemist of Solberg 1 and 2 on Dreamcast challenges players to create the Philosopher's Stone. The gameplay loop involves accepting requests, gathering materials with hired adventurers, battling enemies, and blending ingredients. Companions offer support, and befriending them reduces adventurer costs. The Dreamcast version introduces blend synthesis, allowing players to adjust material proportions for item quality and effectiveness, a departure from the fixed amounts in the original Atelier Marie. The Dreamcast version expands on the PlayStation original, with potential time-sensitive dialogue and new content set 6 years later in Solberg. New locations like Castel Tarnish and Kenkanis significantly expand the world. Players will explore a map 3 times larger than the original and encounter new characters and items. This page announces the upcoming release of Battle Beaster 2 on Dreamcast. An event held on March 15th served as the official announcement of the sequel, much to the excitement of fans, and included autograph sessions with the voice actors. Studio Wonder Effect, the developer, confirmed the release plans during the event at Softmap Namba Store, where the first Battle Beaster had just been launched. Battle Beaster 2 is described as a voice battle simulation game, SLG, and is slated for release in 2001, with pricing yet to be determined. The game will support VGA output, data communication, and microphone input. The page highlights the voice cast, featuring Ogawa Tokyo as Sayu, Kita Saori voicing both Hatsuki and Sega, Tokugawa Genmai as Minaki, Ryu Sumika as Ryu, and Nonaka Masahiro as Nakama Masahiro. The voice actors express their enthusiasm for the project and the voice-driven performances in the game. This page continues the announcement of Battle Beaster 2 for Dreamcast. Following the release event for the first Battle Beaster, details about the sequel are being revealed. Battle Beaster 2 will enhance communication features and deepen the voice command system, a key element of the game. The gameplay revolves around collecting and training creatures called beasts to compete in the Battle Beaster tournament. Voice commands are used during battles, allowing players to issue instructions like attack or defend using a microphone. Battle Beaster 2 is a voice battle simulation game, SLG, scheduled for release in 2001. It will support 1 to 2 players, VGA output, network communication, and microphone input. The webpage address for more information is provided. The page also features character art and a screenshot from the original Battle Beaster, showcasing the monster battles in a watery arena. This page is a special report from Capcom, highlighting their continued support for the Dreamcast even after its production end. The article discusses Capcom's commitment to releasing many new titles for the system, even surpassing the number they released during the Sega Saturn era. There's an interview planned with Yoshiki Okamoto from Capcom to discuss their intentions and future plans for the Dreamcast. The page showcases a luxurious lineup of new Dreamcast titles. First up is Heavy Metal Geomatrix, a 4-player action game inheriting the Spawn system. Next is Tyson Net Gimmick, Capcom and Psikyo All-Stars, an online mahjong game featuring characters from both Capcom and Psikyo. Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro is also featured as the PRO version with 2 new characters. Gaia Master, a card battle game, is shown with its first Dreamcast screenshots since its announcement, highlighting the DC version release. Continuing on, Eldorado Gate Volume 4, the Linked Unit RPG, is getting a follow-up report focusing on events in this 4th installment. Bounty Hunter Sarah, Holy Mountain no Teiyu, an adventure game with a flashy slapstick scenario from non-fiction, also has a sequel report and promises an interview. Resident Evil Code Veronica X Strategy Guide is advertised, focusing on the complete edition and the Antarctic stage setting. Finally, there's a section for Capcom's Game Boy Advance titles, mentioning a multi-platform strategy, with many nostalgic masterpieces appearing on the GBA. This article summarizes a Capcom interview discussing their Dreamcast strategy following the console's production end. Okamoto, a Capcom representative, reflects on their strong Dreamcast support, expressing surprise at the decision but acknowledging the difficult choices Sega faced. He emphasizes Capcom's continued commitment, despite market challenges, and anticipates an interesting year ahead. The article also highlights Capcom's Dreamcast online matching service, Capcom Playback DC, praising its user-friendly and affordable online play. This experience is deemed valuable for future projects. Finally, Okamoto discusses Capcom's Mobile Suit Gundam game for Dreamcast, showcasing its quality and the team's passion. He describes the game as a fusion of Gundam themes and Capcom's action expertise, confirming its Dreamcast release with a specific DC version. Capcom was a strong supporter of the Dreamcast, and would have developed exclusively for it if Sega had requested. However, due to console wars and a multi-platform strategy, Capcom focused on reaching as many users as possible, using an unnamed emulation system. They prioritized their Dreamcast users, intending to support the console until the end, despite profitability concerns. Capcom aimed to create both sharp, Dreamcast-exclusive games and release titles across multiple platforms. They would continue to release games on the Dreamcast without cutting back, wanting to provide a positive legacy. Additionally, Capcom was developing Eldorado Gate, a monthly RPG series for the Dreamcast. This series, accessible even to newcomers, aimed to provide a streamlined RPG experience with emotional events and a cooperation unit system, playable in short bursts. The series was planned to conclude in 7 volumes, with the experience informing future projects and the hope of a revival on Sega's next console. Heavy Metal Geomatrix is a 3D multiplayer battle action game for the Dreamcast, developed by Capcom. It emphasizes fast-paced 1v1 or 2v2 battles, with simple controls but deep strategic weapon use. The game inherits and refines the system from Capcom's arcade title, Spawn in the Demon's Hand, blending long-range shooting with close-quarters combat. Players can expect diverse battle styles and flashy visuals. Planned for release in June, the game supports 1 to 4 players and is VGA compatible. Screenshots show characters battling in 3D environments, with the main character sporting cool sunglasses, a large gun, and a massive muffler. An arcade version is also planned for release in June. This page focuses on the Dreamcast game Heavy Metal Geomatrix, a super high-speed 3D fighting action title. It is described as a 3D field battle action game where players use various weapons to defeat enemies. These weapons range from close combat blades to ranged firearms and even trap-like devices, allowing for diverse battle strategies. The game emphasizes intense head-to-head battles. The background music is also highlighted as heavy metal, promising a steel battle sound from a top-tier metal band to enhance the game's atmosphere. Even those not usually into heavy metal music should find the sound fits the game's vibe. The page also mentions that famous American comic creators are involved in the game's production, specifically referencing the heavy metal comic. Kevin Eastman and Simon Bisley, known for their work in American comics and heavy metal, are contributing to the game's story concept and character design, aiming for a different feel from typical American comic adaptations. The heavy metal comic itself is described as an adult-oriented American comic published for over 20 years, known for themes of violence, sex, and fantasy, gaining popularity not just in America, but also in Canada and Europe. The character Zeus is introduced as a villainous-looking character with purple skin and a mask, wielding a giant sword, suggesting brutal close-quarters combat. This page highlights the 4-player battle mode in Heavy Metal Geomatrix, emphasizing it as a key feature of the game across both arcade and Dreamcast versions. The game allows for team-based battles in tag mode and individual combat in versus mode, as well as cooperative play, offering diverse multiplayer experiences. For the arcade version, it's mentioned that 4-player battles are possible by linking 2 cabinets, whereas on Dreamcast, network functionality allows up to 4 players to compete. The page features screenshots of in-game action and introduces a character named Slash, described as a newly revealed character, noting her striking red outfit. It playfully remarks that in the demo, encountering her on a large motorbike could lead to quick defeat with her sword. It also promotes the game's presence at Tokyo Game Show 2001, inviting attendees to experience Heavy Metal Geomatrix firsthand at the Capcom booth, where they could also receive heavy metal-themed goods. This page announces Tyson Net Gimmick Capcom and Psikyo All-Stars for Dreamcast, a mahjong game that is a collaboration between Capcom and Psikyo, following their previous action shooting games, Gunbird 2 and Gunspike. This new title features popular characters from both companies and includes online play. The page highlights the Kumai mode, a tournament-style gameplay where players compete against characters from Capcom and Psikyo's games. Characters introduced on the page are Guile from Street Fighter, described as an American soldier, Cody from Final Fight, a Metro City rescuer currently in jail, Vega from Street Fighter, the Shadaloo general who wields psycho power, Cammy, also from Street Fighter, an enhanced soldier of Shadaloo, and Chun-Li from Street Fighter, an Interpol investigator and Chinese Kenpo master. The game data box provides details such as the price of 5,800 yen, single-player mode with 12 players online, uses GDROM media, specifies it as a mahjong title, lists the official homepage URL, and confirms support for VGA, broadband, and modem connections, noting that online battles are for 2 players. A message from Capcom emphasizes this collaboration as a new entry following the Hot Gimmick series, and describes it as a Janfight mahjong game, recommended for mahjong enthusiasts. Tyson Net Gimmick Capcom and Psikyo All-Stars is a new entry in the Hot Gimmick series, a mahjong game with online battles as a core feature. Players create and customize avatar fighters called Yan Fighters for online competition, providing a crazy and over-the-top experience. The game, running since 1997, includes a single-player mode against cute girls. New players can learn the rules through a mahjong lecture mode. 8 playable characters are showcased, including Capcom's Sakura and Ryu, and Psikyo's Yanyan, Cool, Koyori, Adeline, Tetsu, and Marion, each with their own backgrounds and motivations. This page announces the upcoming release of Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro on Dreamcast. This new version is an update to the previous Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 and introduces new features and characters. The main highlight is the addition of 2 new veteran fighters, Joe Higashi from SNK's Art of Fighting series, and Dan Hibiki from Capcom's Street Fighter series. These characters were the winners of the Millennium Fight in the game's storyline, and are now playable. The page details the Ratio and Groove Select system, a defining feature of the series. The Ratio system allows players to create teams by assigning point values, 14, to characters, with a total team ratio of 4. The Groove system lets players choose between Capcom Groove and SNK Groove, each impacting gameplay mechanics. The message from Capcom section likely contains developer comments about the new version and features. The game data section indicates that release date and price information are yet to be determined. The page showcases screenshots of the character selection screen featuring Joe and Dan and in-game action, emphasizing the 2 new characters and the game's core systems. This page continues the coverage of Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000 Pro and highlights new features in this updated version. It emphasizes that all secret factors, likely hidden characters and options from the previous game, are available from the beginning in PRO. The game also features refined battle balance adjustments for a more polished experience. Another new feature detailed is the Edit Color mode, carried over from the Dreamcast version of the previous game, allowing players to customize character colors. The page also introduces Pair Match mode, where all characters are set to a ratio of 2. Screenshots showcase various aspects of the game, including in-game fights, the KO screen, and the character selection interface, giving a visual overview of the enhanced features and gameplay. This page highlights Gaia Master Decisive Battle, Century King Legend for Dreamcast, a game where players engage in card battles combined with board game elements. The game is described as having upgraded 3D graphics for maps and characters compared to the PlayStation version. The fairy character Burial is introduced as a mischievous official of the Gaia Master Tournament. The page explains the core gameplay loop involves battling to win against opponents and claim their territories. Battles are turn-based, and victory is determined by remaining health points after 3 turns. Capcom emphasizes that this Dreamcast version is a significant upgrade, with fully 3D visuals, unique characters, varied maps, card battles, and a completely new story mode, promising a substantial evolution from previous iterations. Additionally, the page introduces Gaia Master Dual Card Attackers for Game Boy Color. This version focuses on card battles, featuring over 100 cards, deck editing, and communication cable support for battles against friends, allowing for the creation of original cards. The page also showcases 4 characters: the adventurer Jigar, the bandit Sinbad, Hayat of Wild Backstab, and Akagart, each with a brief description. Gaia Master Decisive Battle, Century King Legend on Dreamcast is a territory control game where card management is key. Players use cards strategically to acquire land, trigger map events, build, and battle. Landing on opponents' territory results in tolls, and players can place symbols to increase revenue. Battles are fast-paced, decided in 3 turns based on card values and remaining health. The game features diverse map squares, including starting points, go, and areas with varying gameplay effects, land, event. 11 characters, each with unique abilities, compete in a tournament. Princess Tiara, Mega the Female Warrior, Agat the Magic Witch, Rasputin the Tough Priest, Holy Knight Paladin, and Izumi Mori Kurozaburo Kiyosada are among the returning characters. Players roll dice to advance, and utilize their unique character abilities to gain an advantage. This page highlights Eldorado Gate Volume 4 for the Dreamcast. It details key aspects of Volume 4 and Episode 9. The story in Volume 4 is presented as a turning point, where new allies awaken to their Oni god power. Episode 9 centers around Miema, starting with curing Abaobachan's illness, and escalating with strange events happening to Abaobachan and others. It seems Mima will be involved in fairy hunting and awakening her own powers. Screenshots showcase gameplay with characters like Mima, Gomes, Radia, and Ain. The game appears to involve exploration and battles, with the UI showing character stats like HP. One section focuses on Aiken, emphasizing his role as a guardian golem and his ability to enhance defense. The page also provides game data, listing the release date as April 12th, the price at 2,800 yen, 120 points, and confirming it's an RPG for Dreamcast on 1 disc. Eldorado Gate Volume 4, Episode 10, Eating Manma, showcases the gluttonous Manma battling Django, a large ape-like monster, in a snowy environment. The episode hints at a territorial conflict with Manma, using food as a weapon. Episode 11, Holy Knight Gigi, introduces Gigi, a holy knight, and suggests aerial combat and a conflict between those possessing different god souls, possibly involving a sky battleship. The Check section highlights Robot State Bad as the protagonist of Volume 4. It also previews the Circus Troupe relationship, featuring the Honeypot Circus Troupe, hinting at Barl's role in future battles. The page teases a large-scale story involving gods, demons, and character development, promising the full story on April 12th. This page is part of the weekly Gaburi column, Volume 20, focusing on Eldorado Gate number 20. It features a staff voice section with producer comments about Eldorado Gate. The producer discusses the positive reception of the Capcom special feature and the upcoming Volume 4, mentioning new features like Attribute Store, Music Mode, and Quick Load. He encourages players to try it out and hints at the release date being soon. There's a section asking, who is the protagonist of Episode 13, suggesting that characters who haven't been prominent in Volumes 14, like Radgar, Sophie, and Kobad, might become central figures. especially hinting at Episode 7 examples. The Scenario 10 Close-Up section delves into the story of Alan and the Demon King, as well as Iris's past. It describes Alan as a renowned warrior and Manmol's father, who fought the Demon King in his youth and suffered greatly. Iris, a village girl from Corinne, found and nursed the injured Alan. The text hints at their romantic entanglement and mentions Alan already being married and returning to the town of Alcenbira after recovering. It also suggests Manful might be needed now, perhaps because of a threat related to the Demon King, whose fate is unclear, with no one seeing his remains. The page also includes screenshots from Eldorado Gate, showcasing in-game scenes and character portraits, including Alan and Iris. This page highlights Bounty Hunter Sarah, Holy Mountain no Teiyu, an adventure game set in a futuristic dystopian Neo-Tokyo in AD 2060. The game focuses on player choice with branching storylines, emphasizing thinking and action, where decisions impact the narrative. Gameplay involves detective time to test reasoning skills and countdown choices testing intuition. The setting, Neo-Tokyo's Holy Mountain District, is described as a ruined and lawless area where even death is unnoticed. An interview with the development staff delves into the secrets of Sarah, the main character, and the game's production, mentioning that anticipation is building after the title's announcement a month prior and that Capcom is publishing the game. The game is slated for release on May 24th and priced at 5,800 yen. The flagship and Capcom interview discusses the development of Bounty Hunter Sarah. Noboru Sugimura of Flagship details the scenario creation, emphasizing early direction setting for action-oriented stories, inspired by James Bond, with a female protagonist. Scenario writers crafted the script before visual elements were added, and a film director enhanced the presentation. Sound design was crucial for atmosphere and immersion. Sarah, the cool, collected bounty hunter in Neo-Tokyo, was designed to appeal to the male player base. Screenshots reveal detective gameplay, with investigation in locations like Center Hills Park Avenue. Gameplay mechanics such as deduction time and countdown highlight a focus on player decision-making and uncovering narrative secrets within the adventure game. This page continues the interview about Bounty Hunter Sarah, Holy Mountain no Teiyu. The developers clarify that Sarah's character is not based on a model, but is designed to be an original creation, emphasizing her image-based representation in the game. They delve into the game's branching narrative, highlighting a massive amount of content where every branch is significant and leads to a satisfying conclusion. The gameplay focuses on deduction, where players must carefully consider their choices, as incorrect deductions lead to bad endings. Replayability is strongly encouraged, with the story changing from the very beginning on subsequent playthroughs, offering new perspectives and deeper understanding. The detective gameplay element is explained as requiring logical thinking, contrasting with a more intuitive countdown element. Players are warned against making rash decisions, as this can lead to negative story outcomes, while careful deduction will result in a positive, satisfying ending. The developers mention that achieving 100% completion will be quite time-consuming due to the branching narratives and evolving story content. In closing, the game is described as a hard-boiled novel adventure for adults, and Sarah's character is portrayed as a stoic, independent woman who is not seeking male attention. Tetsuya Minami from Capcom's third development department, who is profiled on the page, has worked on titles like Resident Evil 3, Gunspike, and Eldorado Gate on the Dreamcast, highlighting his extensive experience. This article provides a strategy guide for the Chris Redfield chapter in Biohazard Code, Veronica Kanzenban, the complete edition of Resident Evil Code, Veronica. The guide focuses on escaping Rockford Island. It details key item acquisition and strategic gameplay tips for survival, emphasizing resource management due to limited ammunition. Players are advised to avoid unnecessary battles by running past enemies whenever possible. The article offers combat tactics, including enemy placement considerations, the decision to fight or evade based on resources, and the advantage of height differences. Screenshots illustrate gameplay scenarios, such as navigating narrow corridors and utilizing boxes on moving platforms. The guide stresses awareness of enemy height during attacks. This guide details restoring power and acquiring key items in Resident Evil Code, Veronica X on Rockford Island. The player must restore power by getting the investigation room key, finding the power supply room, and operating its device. While some exploration is possible in the dark, the guide recommends waiting until power is restored, though acquiring the assault rifle and incendiary grenades from weapons and medicine storage is prioritized, though avoiding the giant mantis is advised. To obtain the gas mask, the player must activate the luggage sorting room, use a barcode seal on a box, and send it to the BOW storage to trigger a gas release. The gas mask is found at the entrance. Finally, the guide covers escaping the South Pole base by obtaining the plant book, mechanical room key, and octagonal valve handle. Items like grenades and shotgun shells are noted as important for later. This Dreamcast Magazine guide for Resident Evil Code, Veronica X, details survival strategies facing Nosferatu at the South Pole helipad. The guide recommends using the sniper rifle, zooming in to hit its chest weak points. Be wary of attacking elsewhere, as it releases poison gas. Item boxes are shared between Claire and Chris, so store weapons before Claire's scenario ends to aid Chris's playthrough. The guide also covers Chris's scenario, starting with rescuing Rodrigo in the training area B3F Underground Graveyard. Rodrigo gives Chris a lighter. Finally, it advises on the sandworm fight in the stalactite cave, suggesting grenade launcher and grenades for an easy victory. Avoid using the elevator during the battle, as it affects the lighter's availability. Dash to evade the sandworm and attack when it pauses. This strategy guide for Resident Evil Code, Veronica X, focuses on the training area. It covers obtaining the submachine gun and lighter, then using the lighter on a torch in the graveyard. Navigation involves a hidden passage from the first floor vehicle depot to the B1 floor vehicle underpass, requiring a button press on a truck. Players must also find a battery pack for a lift and acquire the pharmaceutical warehouse key. The guide details the gold Luger puzzle in the director's room, awarding the decorative Luger model gun. Finally, it instructs players on acquiring the shotgun in the B2F South Underground Waterway lift area. This involves activating a staircase, using the elevator to reach the garage, and returning the shotgun to its original location. The guide also mentions retrieving the doorknob, which triggers a Hunter Beta encounter, and is used on a door near the second floor security room. This section of the Resident Evil Code, Veronica X guide, details the training area. Players acquire the emblem of a car from the model exhibition room by using the security room front doorknob and placing the emblem in a diorama. Assault rifle ammo can be replenished in the BOW storage room, Claire only. Be wary of self-propelled sensors. Time your dashes to avoid triggering Hunter Beta enemies. Chris can use the turntable key for a shortcut to the vehicle underpass to obtain the shotgun. Entering the BOW storage room with the key initiates a fight with Wesker. The turntable key also unlocks the virus storage area, leading to the B1F lift platform. Players need a code, training facility completion date, for Clement Sigma. Finally, sweepers, poisonous enemies, appear after obtaining Clement Sigma. Always carry blue herbs. This guide details the Resident Evil Code, Veronica X walkthrough focusing on the training facility. Players must obtain 3 proofs by manipulating oil pressure and using items between the waiting room and transport machine area. Clement Alpha enables elevator use for backtracking. Players return to the training area to upgrade the handgun in the storage room, requiring access to B1F. Chris's scenario limits his actions to the training area compared to Claire's. To progress, players must retrieve the Eagle Plate from the B2F North Side Underground Waterway. Escaping Rockford Island requires combining the Eagle Plate and Clement to create Clement Mixture, used to open the armored car passage for escape. The Handgun Custom, a modified Glock with a Magnum-like critical hit chance, is obtainable in the storage room. The underground ventilation room's door status, from Claire's playthrough, affects Chris's progress. Finally, it covers the battle against the electric Albinoy, advising the use of grenades, flame bottles, and a battle plate for protection. This page highlights upcoming Capcom games for the Game Boy Advance. First up is Breath of Fire, an RPG, and a revival of the series' origins, slated for July. Players will transform into dragons, gather companions, and unravel Dragon Clan mysteries in this port of the original game. Next is Yushun Lafroig, a jockey simulation RPG coming in June, where you'll experience horse racing from a jockey's perspective, managing horses and trainers to win races. Street Fighter II Turbo Revival, a fighting action title, is also set for July, bringing the arcade fighting game experience to GBA, with customizable controls and simplified commands for all skill levels. Mega Man Battle Network, a data-action RPG already released in March, places players in a near-future network society as Rockmen, battling viruses in the cyberworld using program and battle chips. Lastly, Final Fight 1, an action title released in May, is a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you'll control 3 heroes to rescue Jessica from a gang, utilizing weapons and 2-player co-op via link cable. This page focuses on the Dreamcast horror game ILLB Lead, showcasing 2 scenarios within it. The home run goes to death is featured with taglines mentioning Minnesota's great nature and father and son baseball soul. It highlights the director Michael Reynolds and starring actors Gail Bamballo, Jimmy Bamballo, Eriko Christie, Kevin Kurtman, Charlie Meetingberg, and Sadao Hopkins. The other scenario is The Revenge of Queen Worm, emphasizing shock surround and depicting a giant worm monster. Page references point to related content elsewhere in the magazine, with P148, P152, and P154 listed for other game articles, and strategy guides for Ill Bleed and Love Hina Smile Again on pages P156 and P160 respectively. This page introduces Exodus Guilty NEOS, an RPG adventure game for Dreamcast. The game is set across 3 distinct time periods: the present, AD 2000, the past, BC 1200, and the future, AD 13,800. It emphasizes that while times change, people's feelings remain constant. Players can choose to start in any of these eras, and as the story progresses, connections between the timelines will emerge. The game focuses on the lives and thoughts of people in these different eras, highlighting the differences in their societies. The screenshots suggest a mix of settings, from ancient ruins to futuristic environments. The game is advertised as a treasure hunt beyond time, where players will unravel mysteries that span across these eras. Exodus Guilty NEOS is scheduled for release on May 31st and is an RPG plus ADV genre game. It features 3 main protagonists and promises a rich story brought to life by a cast of voice actors. This page focuses on introducing the main characters of Exodus Guilty NEOS. We are introduced to Shindo Kasumi, an 18-year-old high school student and treasure hunter voiced by Shotaro Morikubo, who is on a global quest to find the 11th commandment of Moses. A character connected to Kasumi's arranged marriage is also featured, voiced by Mayumi Izuka. Algeric, a bold and ruthless treasure hunter voiced by Kaoru Morota, is another treasure hunter in pursuit of the same goal as Kasumi. Reina Tachibana, voiced by Kikuko Inoue, is presented as a slightly ditzy but competent archaeologist, the elder sister of Ai. And Watts, her cautious assistant, is voiced by Hideki Hagiwara. Finally, Richter, a local nobleman voiced by Yutaka Aoyama, is funding Reina's archaeological work, though his true intentions seem to be more complex than just support. The page highlights the conflict between treasure hunters and archaeologists within the game's narrative, and the relationships between these central characters. This page introduces the game set in the past, BC 1200, titled Village Destroyed by the Shrine, People Question God. The story centers around a small village called Ark, where people live according to God's will. Martha, the village leader, refuses to become a living sacrifice, plunging the village into crisis. Her son, Eris, the earthly knight, is tasked with conveying Martha's God's cry to Will. The main characters are introduced. Eris, voiced by Hikaru Midorikawa, is the protagonist of the past arc, tasked with carrying Martha's will. Quay, voiced by Goyuki Kozakura, is described as another hero who will encounter Ares. Windy, voiced by Kazusa Mirai, is a shrine official who controls the wind and is described as cool and logical, serving the 4 shrine officials who govern the world. Flare, voiced by Harumi Asai, is a shrine official of fire who intensely hates humans and is described as a tragic villain. Will, voiced by Haru Osato, is an adventurer who travels various lands and questions God's will, offering help and holding the key to a secret. The page explains that in the game's world, God's will rules everything, and 4 shrine officials govern the people. Martha, Eris's adoptive mother, is called God's Cry, a title for the village chief and revered figure. When Martha refuses to become a living sacrifice, people begin to question God. The voice actor comments share their experiences voicing the characters and their impressions of the game and characters. Exodus Guilty Neos is a dystopian RPG set in AD 13,300, a century after a global catastrophe. Humanity is on the brink of extinction, and a royal family controls science with absolute power. The game features diverse characters including Silent Protector Sui, voiced by Miki Nagasawa, Cheerful Tatsuta, voiced by Motoko Kumai, Princess Lilith, voiced by Yumi Toma, who faces a coup, Masked Coup Leader Zazan, and Titi, who studies ancient technology and speaks an incomprehensible dialect, voiced by Kahoru Sasajima. Key themes include the collapse of civilization and the ceiling of science. Princess Sue is pursued by Zazan, leading her on a journey to escape. NES is a mystery adventure game delving into the human psyche, specifically the ego and id. Set in Japan on July 6, 2001, the game centers on a serial murder case involving a perpetrator who injures victims over time. Detective Hinoshita, investigating the crimes, is critically injured, and the seventh victim, potentially Miyu Hashida, is missing. Players, utilizing Psychodive, will explore Hinoshita's fragmented subconscious. Dive tuning allows deeper dives based on wave patterns. The game presents 4 linked murder cases, each with a body dumping, a housewife, a high school girl with yogurt, a bank employee and his wife with their unharmed baby, and a university student with chicken bones. The victim's display and injury method suggests they were deliberately kept alive and harmed before death, linking the cases together. This page is a feature on the adventure game ES, which is a Psychodive adventure. It details gameplay mechanics like access, where players use objects and people as keywords to delve into memories. Pinpoint tuning describes how disturbing memories can cause the player to lose control, requiring timed actions to maintain stability within the dive. The page highlights key characters: Nonoa Akiko, who provides information to Hinoshita's police department and is researching water therapy; Ishimori Satoshi, a psychology professor at Jonan University; and Hinoshita Bu, a detective involved in the case. The ACE keyword section defines psychopath and connects it to the game's themes of hidden darkness in the human heart. Finally, it introduces a 20 years ago murder case, the Hibari mass murder incident, from 1981 at a Western-style restaurant called Yoshokuya Hibari. This incident involved 8 victims, including the restaurant owner, doctors, and students. The suspect is Shiozaki Kazuo, who disappeared after the incident. The game's plot seems to unfold by pursuing Shiozaki Kazuo and exploring the mysteries of this past crime. This page previews the adventure game Konohana, True Report, a mystery set in an academy. The game centers around a murder incident that occurs at Konohana Academy just before the entrance ceremony, where a body is found with a note marked 0, leading students to believe it's a death god's curse. The game follows the protagonist, who transfers to Konohana Academy and aims to establish a newspaper club with a girl named Hashimoto Miko. Miko is described as a strong-willed and somewhat bossy girl with black hair, who uses the janitor's room as her newspaper club office and loves potato chips. The story starts with the protagonist arriving at Konohana Academy and accidentally seeing Miko changing clothes. She uses this to coerce him into joining the newspaper club and investigate the murder cases around the school. The setting of Konohana Academy is depicted as a quiet school surrounded by forests. Originally a girls' school, now co-ed, with old buildings. This adventure game promises a serious mystery, with music and story content comparable to a music CD, and is set for a spring release in Japan. This page continues the preview of Konohana, True Report, a mystery adventure game set in Konohana Academy. It highlights the murder case of the swim team advisor, found dead within the school, who despite being successful, was apparently unpopular with students. The page introduces Momoi Megumi as a key character alongside Miko, both involved in investigating the murder. The game features a multi-ending system where player choices and actions determine the story's outcome, with possibilities of being arrested or encountering other incidents unrelated to the main murder case. The success of Miko and Megumi in uncovering the truth and creating the true report depends on the player's actions. The phrase, "Seriously, if you don't get your act together, Watson-kun, what are we going to do?" emphasizes the detective theme and the player's role in solving the mystery. The next page delves into the survival horror game ILB Lead, known internationally by the same name, focusing on how to survive its terrifying attractions. It describes the game's premise, where failed visitors in the horror theme park Illbleed face real death and are buried together. The page highlights 3 crucial player parameters for survival: stamina, bleeding amount, and heart rate. Stamina reaching 0 means death, while excessive bleeding reduces stamina and heart rate, and can also lead to death if bleeding reaches 100. The exploration section advises players to be cautious of traps, use adrenaline, and rely on the horror monitor to detect danger. Combat is described as hit and run, and boss battles require evasion using backsteps or sidesteps, noting some bosses have infinite health, indicated by an infinity symbol. Screenshots illustrate these parameters and gameplay mechanics. This guide covers Stage 1, the home run of death, of Illbleed, a tutorial level emphasizing careful navigation through narrow corridors and rooms. It's broken into sections like Bangblow Mountain Approach Front Garden and Central Garden, detailing enemy placement and trap locations. Players must eliminate obstacles, utilize nitro for jumps, and find key items like the calculating machine. An Item Lecture 1 section focuses on recovery items. While recovery items don't carry over to the next stage, enhancement items do. Players should manage their limited item capacity, 9 slots, wisely. The guide details numerous items, including Hashi, Ramen, and Amazon, each affecting health, adrenaline, and heart rate. Amazon, a rare item, is particularly valuable. The guide recommends prudent item purchases from shops, as recovery items become crucial in later stages. Stage 2 of Illbleed, Stage Within the Stage, is detailed, covering exploration and item usage. Sections 5 to 8 guide players through the basement, kitchen, guest room, manager's office, and basement areas, highlighting key items like Jimmy's trophy and the location of scares. The guide emphasizes avoiding dangers like monster encounters and utilizing items to mitigate them. Item Lecture 2 introduces stage-specific support items that cannot be carried over. These include tools like the horror monitor to reveal shock events, the calculator to analyze event data, the item sensor to locate items, and the speed ladder for faster movement. Defensive items like Plaster, Protector, and Caution Bomb are also discussed, along with Sacrifice Mary for revival and the ER discount ticket for cost reduction. This page continues the ILB lead walkthrough, now guiding players through areas 8 to 11. Section 8, the underground baseball field, details using cleared items to trigger an event at the photo box, initiating the first round battle against Bangblow. Section 9 covers the underground maze and toilet, advising players to follow the left wall for navigation and to check the map if lost while encountering Bangblow in the second round, also pointing out an item hidden in the toilet. Section 10 moves to the underground maze and boiler room, explaining that entering the boiler room starts the third Bangblow fight and mentions rescuing Kevin. Finally, Section 11, Manager's Room 2, instructs players to acquire Protector and Amazon items and heal up before leaving the boiler room as an event triggers on the stairs, leading to a battle with Giant Bangblow. Strategies for this giant foe include using A-button steps to avoid attacks and navigating using floating objects on the lake. At a fork, players are advised to choose the route deeper into the screen. The page shows screenshots of the Bangblow battles in their various rounds. This page shines the spotlight on Love Hina. Smile Again for the Dreamcast, an adventure game where the story and collecting message cards are key. The page gives players a heads-up on where to find these cards. They are also advertising a limited edition 6-item goods set. This includes a lunch mat with Love Hina artwork, a mascot necklace, chopsticks, a ceramic Tama stand, a bath towel, and a bath bucket, all featuring designs from the game. There's an Episode Check section that seems to be about birthday presents and character feelings, focusing on relationship dynamics. A profile section on Narusagawa Naru introduces her as athletic and intelligent, initially hostile to Keitaro, but eventually developing feelings. The screenshots show in-game moments with presence and story progression, typical of the Love Hina romantic comedy style. This page continues the focus on Love Hina. Smile Again for the Dreamcast, and provides a guide on where to find the message cards scattered around Hinata Inn. It highlights that these cards are character-specific, adding a layer to when and where you can find them in the story. There's a points section explaining how to stop the roulette in the game, advising players to aim carefully and watch the needle to select their desired outcome. The page then lists several Love Hina characters: Sawachika Mizuho, Narusagawa Naru, Aoyama Motoko, Mayahara Shinobu, Kono Mitsumi, Onue Mutsumi, and Kaola Su, each with a list of locations where their message cards can be found, such as specific rooms or areas in the Hinata Inn. The text encourages players to search thoroughly. Small screenshots at the bottom hint at in-game locations where cards might be hidden. It's also mentioned that while this list provides many locations, the whereabouts of 5 specific cards remain secret and are not revealed. The next page is promoting the Aerodancing Eye fan disc, with a series of 3 fan participation events. The first event is a national vote, where players get to choose their favorite aircraft from a list of 18, including planes like the T-33 T-Bird, F-86 FBI, P-47 Thunderbolt, and many others to be included in the game. This voting period runs from late March to early April. Following that, there's a naming parent contest where fans can submit subtitle ideas for the fandisc in early April, with the winner being credited. Lastly, the Dancing Audition 2001 replay contest in April and May encourages players to create and submit impressive or funny replays using the Dancing Audition mode. It's noted that emblems are not allowed in the replay contest submissions. This page continues outlining the Aerodancing iFandisc events and showcases the fantastic prizes available for each of the three events: National Vote, Naming Parent, and Dancing Audition 2001. Winners can snag luxurious ProMaster Navihawk watches in Blue Impulse, Blue Angels, and Thunderbirds editions. There are also original telephone cards to be won in a lucky draw. The Dancing Audition 2001 replay contest details are further explained, specifying that entries must be submitted through the website, utilizing replay data from Aerodancing in either free flight or versus modes, with a strict 4-minute time limit and no emblems allowed in submissions. There are also helpful tips for event participation, suggesting considering jet selection for the aircraft vote, aiming for bold and striking names for the subtitle contest, and emphasizing the importance of mastering camera angles for winning replay submissions. Screenshots depict the game's fighter selection screen and the replay editing features. The results for all events are scheduled to be announced in mid-June on the official Aerodancing website. This page focuses on Fire Pro Wrestling D and the Dorimaga Combat download content event. It highlights the public release of 10 downloadable wrestlers created by Dorimaga, a Dreamcast Magazine team, for players to use in their own edits. The page showcases each of these 10 wrestlers with details about their fighting style and in-game persona. These include wrestlers like Fusha Riran, who is described as GPW's ace wrestler with a focus on strong grappling techniques, Darcy, who uses unorthodox techniques, and Gunmaray de Silva, a skilled fighter using blade mat style. There are also descriptions for Yamaji, Mike Ullman, Andy Cooper, Valentino Offline, Kakuto Giroux, Steelmite, and Heise Dolphin Ningen, each with unique fighting approaches. Dorimaga Combat is presented as an upcoming tournament event using these edit wrestlers. The participation guidelines are listed, specifying a 150 edit point limit, the inability to use downloaded techniques, and restrictions on fight styles and reversal types, with giant style throws being prohibited. Prizes for tournament winners are mentioned as being luxurious rewards, including signed color paper from wrestlers Makoto Funaki and Hickson Gracie, as well as Fire Pro CB-related goods. The page also announces ongoing updates and download content for Fire Pro Wrestling D, mentioning a reader poll that awarded Unknown Fire the top spot for download content. The page concludes with a section titled Fire Pro Also Yamatalk Recruitment, encouraging readers to send in their opinions and stories related to Fire Pro and their wrestler creations. The next page is Mail Chum Magazine Volume 23, and is all about reader submissions and birthday celebrations for the magazine's characters. It announces the results of the Pink's Birthday Illustration Contest, showcasing reader-submitted artwork. The page also announces that April 4th is Red's birthday, and is now calling for illustrations of clothes you want Red to wear for the next contest. The magazine team members, Pink, Blue, Black, Purple, and Red, are commenting on the reader submissions in speech bubbles. There are also sections providing addresses for mail and postcard submissions, and mentions of reader columns like Petit General's World Straight Story and Barry 4 Consultation Corner. The next page focuses on the arcade game Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Zeon. This team battle action game is already in arcades across the country, and is developed and sold by Capcom and published by Banpresto. It supports 1 to 4 players and runs on the NAOMI arcade board. The page acts as a strategy guide, emphasizing team coordination. It highlights key gameplay elements like friendly fire, warning players to be careful not to hit teammates, especially with powerful weapons. Close combat is described as particularly dangerous due to the chaos of battle. Another tip focuses on water stages where unseen enemies on land can be a threat. Finally, it suggests targeting weaker enemies first to gain a tactical advantage. The bottom of the page also notes a Dreamcast version is planned for release in summer by Bandai. This page continues the strategy guide for the arcade game Mobile Suit Gundam Federation vs. Zeon, focusing on comparing the performance of various mobile suits to determine the strongest. It breaks down performance into categories such as cost-effectiveness, durability and defense, normal movement speed, effective attack range, shooting attack power, and melee attack power, plus an additional section on intangible strengths not reflected in data. The page highlights the top-performing mobile suit in each category, such as the Old Zaku for cost, the Guntank for durability, and the Dom and Rickdom for speed. The Gundam is noted for its shooting attack power, and the GOG for its melee strength. The guide also points out that raw data isn't everything, noting the Gundam's versatility and the Zeong's all-range attacks as examples of strengths that go beyond simple stats. This guide outlines strategies for the arcade game Mobile Suit Gundam, Federation vs. Zeon, across 4 stages. Side 7, Great Canyon, New York, and Taklamakan Desert. Side 7 favors Earth Federation using buildings for cover, while Zeon should watch for ambushes. Great Canyon emphasizes sidestepping tactics due to challenging terrain, cautioning against gun cannon. New York Stadium encourages drawing enemies near the white base. Taklamakan Desert features Gof for Zeon, advising focus on Zaku while avoiding Axam attacks. The guide also details NPC unit information, including durability and cost. Earth Federation units like Gundam and GM are compared to Zeon's Old Zaku, Gof, and others. NPC units, controlled by the COM, possess reduced durability and cost compared to player units, despite similar attack power. This page continues the strategy guide for Mobile Suit Gundam, Federation vs. Zeon, delving into fundamental combat strategies. It emphasizes the importance of maneuvering to get behind enemy units and utilizing aerial attacks effectively. In close-quarters combat, the guide advises caution when using melee attacks, stressing the need to be mindful of distance and movement. When recovering from being downed, it warns against simply mashing the melee button, suggesting prioritizing evasion to avoid further attacks. Aerial assaults are highlighted as valuable due to their effectiveness and ability to minimize risk, capitalizing on speed advantages. Additional supplementary advice includes shield usage. While shields can block attacks, they are not invincible and will eventually break after sustained damage. Aerial dashes are elaborated upon, explaining their mechanics during jumps and the limitations of lock-on during horizontal dashes. Buildings can serve as cover, but are destructible, so relying on them permanently is not advisable. The page also details the Zeong's unique high-speed movement capability, pointing out that while powerful, it consumes boost gauge. Finally, the guide touches upon machine combinations, emphasizing cost management when forming teams to prevent resource disadvantages during battles. Throughout the page, screenshots from Mobile Suit Gundam, Federation vs. Zeon, visually demonstrate the discussed combat techniques and scenarios. This page is an advertorial titled, Take Chan's Crane Game, Prize Get Lecture Beginner Edition, featuring tips on how to win prizes from Crane Games. It promotes various plush prizes, prominently featuring Sakura Wars 3 keychains and figures, alongside Sesame Street's Beeple Pull Ring plush toys and Calamero Super Jumbo leather plush toys. The page includes a Take Chan's generous present giveaway, where 3 people can win a set of items by sending in a postcard with their details and feedback to Dreamcast Magazine by April 13th. A section lists March-April prizes, which include Anpunman Scene plush toys, Koyo plush toys, Sanrio character TV pillows, cotton straps, Shimura Ken Super Jumbo plush toys, Sugisaru Sarasi Puru Puru plush toys, Super Horse plush toys, Sesame Street keychain figures, Point 2, Morinaga Chocoball Kyoro-chan, Japanese Spring plush toys, and Looney Tunes Tweety Toy Teether style plush toys. The next page showcases Disney prizes also in full bloom, with a range of Disney merchandise available as Crane Game prizes. Featured are Mickey and Minnie Super Jumbo Plush Spring Series Point 1, Winnie the Pooh Flower Word plush toys, Mickey Mouse tote bags, 101 Dalmatians Tea for 1 set, Toy Story 2 Jumbo Skateboard, and The Nightmare Before Christmas Door Knockers featuring Jack and Zero. The page also lists March-April Disney prizes, which include various Winnie the Pooh items such as Super Jumbo Plush Bear, 5 Jumbo Photo Stand Plush, Sports-style keychains, slippers and racks, beads kits, action plush toys, and Melody Christmas items. Mickey and Minnie items are also listed, including Super Jumbo Plush Point 4, Frost Pair Glasses, Outdoor Scene Plush Point 2, Afternoon Nap Plush Point 2, Cute Size Stands, and Retro Toy Collection playing cards. Below this, a comic strip features a character reporting from the Amusement Expo AU show, showcasing the prize flower garden Hanazono, and excitedly presenting Monkey Ball as a new amusement video game. The next page is a Dreamcast Magazine Dream Review for the 10th installment, featuring the game Sakura Taisen 3, Is Paris Burning? Dora-chan, the reviewer, introduces the game with excitement, jokingly summarizing the plot as Captain Ogami being unfaithful in Paris before correcting herself. She then mentions that it's been a week since the game's release, and wonders if readers have already completed it and how many playthroughs they are on. She also asks if Dreamcast Magazine's strategy guides for the game have been helpful. This page continues the Dreamcast Magazine Dream Review of Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning? The reviewer Dora-chan expresses excitement about the Kubu F mecha in the game, praising its design and action as super cool and exhilarating. She talks about feeling emotionally invested in the characters during battle, wanting to protect her favorites, and describes the combat as romantically driven. The familiar lip system, a key element of the Sakura Wars series, is mentioned as being present as always, with a note of caution about timed choices. The minigames are highlighted as being incredibly engaging. Dora-chan also praises the new heroine Erica Fontaine as cute and encourages readers to experience her charm. She playfully recites a line about countless lights of miracles reaching the heart. Finally, the bottom banner features the phrases blade light sword shadow and wolf tiger destruction, possibly related to special techniques in the game, alongside character introductions for Dora-chan as a cosplay-loving game girl and her older sister Megadora, a Sakura Wars fan. This page presents Chapter 40 of the manga Guru Guru Drill, titled Aha Aid Exchange Story, with art by Uekusa. The comic strip features characters introduced on the left side. Guru Guru, who dreams of being a scientist and loves lucky bags. Meishi-san, a school idol and narcissist who loves Puni Puni. Aoi-chan, Guru Guru's assistant who wants to be his wife. And Ayase-kun and Hiroshima-kun. The comic depicts a humorous scenario where Guru Guru is in a money emergency and seems to need funds to buy an encyclopedia and a bag, possibly for a date. Meishi-san offers to help, while Aoi-chan asks if she is not good enough. The dialogue hints at economic themes, with mentions of the economy not shrinking but needing self-reliance, adding to the comedic tone. Hiroshima-kun and others are also involved in the comical interaction, and the overall humor derives from the exaggerated personalities of these characters, who are likely based on magazine staff, interacting in this absurd situation. This Dreamcast Magazine horoscope covers March 30th to April 5th, offering advice for each zodiac sign. Aries faces challenges but anticipates improvement, with Viridian and a coat as lucky elements. Taurus needs wisdom, khaki, and incense. Gemini should focus on one thing, using white and a hot water bottle. Cancer benefits from loved ones, silver, and a photo stand. Leo finds improvement with light blue-green and Odin. Virgo should watch spending, protect against colds, and use pink and tin. Libra finds salvation through patience, with mountain-blowing color and a tapestry. Scorpio needs a clean sweep and rest, utilizing brown tea color and grape juice. Sagittarius faces potential complications, with yellow-green and a blind. Capricorn should communicate clearly and enjoy good weather, using red-purple and a knit cap. Aquarius should stick to familiar places, using orange and speaking aloud. Pisces should gather knowledge cautiously, using Bordeaux color and fleece. The weekly lucky person is someone born April 2nd, represented by Xianghua, with a message about understanding and good intentions. The overall theme is spring weather and cherry blossoms, encouraging flower viewing. Dreamcast Magazine is holding a Reader Prize giveaway with various prizes. Winners can receive game software like 100 Swords, with guide, and any Dreamcast game released before April 6, 2001. Merchandise prizes include keychains, figures, Sakura Wars 2 and Love Hina, a Dreamcast case, and a t-shirt. Also, Dream-A-Ga cover telephone cards featuring Shenmue 2 are available. The upcoming April 20th issue, releasing April 6th, will cover Sakura Wars 3, a game show, and a new series, all themed around spring releases. Expect coverage of Sonic Adventure 2 and features on Resident Evil Code, Veronica, Illbleed, Naomi 3, Virtua Striker 3, and a Gundam title. All entrants will receive a Sakura Wars 3 service telephone card. This page is an announcement of the Lucky Card campaign winners for the Macross M3 game. The prizes include a 1/72nd scale VF-1 S Fighter Valkyrie model for one winner, A Macross VF11B Thunderbolt Full Transformation Series model for 50 winners. A Macross M3 sound file mini soundtrack CD for 100 winners, and VF1A, VF1J, and VF1S model kits for 150 winners, with each model chosen randomly. The page lists the winning numbers for each prize category: Macross Prize, Max Prize, Moraramia Prize, and Milia Prize. The page features images of Macross mecha and characters. This page showcases upcoming Dreamcast game releases from Interchannel. First up is Canvas Sepia Colored Motif. Slated for release on April 5, 2001, priced at 7,200 yen. It introduces Misaki Aya, a character in the game, detailing her profile, which includes her height, weight, blood type, and birthday, along with a brief backstory about her artistic talents since childhood, and how she became withdrawn, but is now looking to reconnect with the protagonist through art. Next is Angel Present, scheduled for release on April 12, 2001, priced at 6,800 yen. Lastly, there's Welcome to Pia Carrot 2.2, releasing on May 31, 2001, as a 2-disc game for 7,200 yen. At the bottom, an advert for the Interchannel Net Shop is displayed, promoting online game sales via their website.